Welcome, everybody, as I roll out the red carpet to you on the feature attractions that are ahead tonight and so much more, too, as I bring to you a double feature of City Predicting as we look at the new era of Honor Restored and how the white and gold will try to stand and deliver on this edition of Simply Predicting. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to City Predicting. You know what this is, for I'm the simple man of the simple brand, and my name is Noah Foster. And with me right now are three of my closest friends in all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to my AEW family on the Twitter. It's Jerry, not my NXT. It's the Renegade, JJ Williams, and the founder and creator and commish of the Meltdown Wrestling League, Jeff Chadwick. We got horsemen, we got reviewers, we got creative minds, and we got a lot to discuss, as always, on the usual, that is City Predicting. Shout out to those that want to be here but couldn't, including not limited to Mark Griffith, that, again, always put up with the horsemen. Christopher Rotz, I hope that Mother Nature helps finally resolve your situation. I hope everything work out there. I look forward to talking again to you soon. Check out our Multiverse United preview predictions as well, folks, now on my channel. And also Tim Tobin and, of course, Dwayne Atkinson, who might come in later after the first half based on his strengths versus weaknesses. But enough about that. First off, Gary, good to see you. The man of 1,000 names, endless creativity, always brings the humor, the comedy, and certainly far more creative booking than WWE at times. But anyway, how are you?
I'm doing superb. I'm coming off of an 88.8% correct answers last night on Impact, so I'm feeling pretty confident rolling into this evening, which is not good for me because I'm consistently inconsistent when it comes to predictions. No, you were there for Toronto. I got NXT 5 for 5 that night. Then I just completely bombed on SummerSlam that next night. So I'm enjoying my victory right now, but I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth here, and I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna do well here too.
I like that. The man is on point. Jeff, good to see you again, my friend. How are you doing so far this Saturday?
I'm doing good. Now, he was mentioning 88.8. Thank God he didn't turn this into Steiner math, because I would have had to go postal. Anyway,
based on your score last night.
Yeah. Well, hey, I already forewarned. Impact is not my strong suit, and the last three show it. But you know what? We got Ring of Honor, we got NXT, two that I'm pretty darn good at. So maybe I can catch up a little bit.
Well, if anyone's going to ace the white and gold, it's going to be the guy who's been following it since its inception, when it no longer was the Skittles. And that is, of course, great friend, leader, creator of Custody 18 Studios, one of the dads, not always on wrestling. It's, of course, the Renegade and my color cohort in all things WWE and NXT, JJ Williams. JJ, good to see you once again. How are you? This is it, man. This is your center stage for your NXT.
I was going to say, it's kind of fun being on a panel with two people that claim that it's not their NXT. And I'm like,
damn it,
it's my NXT.
Mine too.
You can keep it.
You know what, Jerry? In all fairness, even Noah says it may still not be his NXT, but it's still a lot better than it was when it was 2.0.
Right.
I will give it that. They're definitely running it back when it comes to this one. I'm really impressed with the card that they have.
Yeah,
cool.
And I am too.
And Jeff, it's good to find somebody else here that actually will claim this NXT.
Hey, I've been watching it from the get-go, from day one, just like Noah has. And 2.0 was a disaster. Thank God it only lasted a year, but that's unfortunately a year that we can't get back in our lives. So, I'm okay with white and gold.
Time.
Yes, it was. It was very.
If nothing else, though, 2.0 saw the rise of Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and Mandy Rose with Toxic Attraction.
I say
really good things to come out of the 2.0 era.
There were some things that did come out of 2.0, so I will agree with you on that.
Mandy isn't there anymore for reasons, but no one can deny her rise.
No.
My two favorite things out of that's Gigi Boland's butt cheeks.
Let's not get Noah started.
Look, everyone knows what I'm about. I look at women in wrestling for freaking wrestling. Damn it! But
she's a great wrestler.
Yeah, she is. Former Priscilla Kelly, for those that don't know.
She's a damn fine wrestler, Noah.
She's tapping into conversations with me and Jenny when I said that she was the one that I saw the most potential out of the trio that was Toss's attraction. I feel that's finally coming to fruition. But before we get there, let's go ahead and keep things pure to a degree as we first talk about Ring of Honor. And of course, before we get into all the festivities, thank you for those that are tuning in, whether live or on demand on either channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. By the way, this guy is monetized. So if you really want to try and steer the video in some way with a topic, super chat. It's as simple as that. But without further ado, gents, let's get right into it. So the first frame we're going to discuss, of course, as it is known, and again, folks, link in the description down below for all three forms. I will update them as needed, and all predictions will be finalized by a certain point, as I will illustrate. But let's go ahead and first talk about Ring of Honor where it stands, because right now, this might as well be the pay-per-view. This is your Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. That will be Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor pay-per-view available exclusively on the Bleacher Report app. I believe it will also be available for Honor Club in some areas and also on other international pay-per-view platforms. And as of right now, 4 matches have been made official. A Ring of Honor World Television match, Reach for the Sky ladder match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. The Triple A Mega Championship will be on the line, and one that definitely intrigues me to a degree, the Ring of Honor World Championship. And again, folks, you want to get those predictions in, links in the description down below. All predictions will be final, though, by Friday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As more matches are made official, I will be sure to update the form as needed, as I still believe they're going to add the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, since Wheeler Yuta has officially called out Katsuyori Shibata. Dude has it.
That's a horrible picture.
That's a great picture.
Wheeler Yuta doing his CM Punk impression.
Yeah.
Just it looks like he's cross-eyed. He's like,
I did it for The Rock.
And Kenny King did it for Eddie Edwards, allegedly. But also, Athena called out the magical girl, Yuka Sakasaki, and we'll see if those two matches are made official. Yeah, she seems so gentle in that picture versus what she's been in the ring, just saying. And of course,
she's done nothing but impress me, so I'm happy with that.
I completely agree. And also, Tiambase, led by Prince Nana, have apparently been called out by AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik. We'll see if that match is made official for the Ring of Honor 6-Man World Tag Team Championships. But that being said, let's go ahead and first talk about the Reach for the Sky ladder match. Since the 13-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes, can no longer be what they've been, since one boy is now up in heaven. Rest his soul. But that being said, we got 5 incredible teams here. We got the Lucha Brothers, the Kingdom, the OGK, Top Flight, Aussie Open, and Los Facción Ingobernables. Of course, the Kingdom have former Ring of Honor World Tag Team title experience. Lucha Brothers, multiple-time tag team champions wherever they've been. AEW, HOG, Impact Wrestling. Top Flight, one of the brightest up-and-coming tag teams this generation, along with Aussie Open. But Top Flight literally in their genesis, while Aussie Open have already held tag team gold, NJPW, and beyond. And Los Facción Ingobernables, represented by Rus and El Delistico. Rus has never held tag team gold, but is a former Ring of Honor world champion, 2-time. But El Delistico held tag team gold in Mexico with Dragon Lee, who we'll talk about when we get to NXT. But that being said, guys, like I said, this is the reset for the Ring of Honor brand. So who should be the first players as the tag team champions? Jerry, let's start with you. Who's your pick?
It's a toss-up for me at this point between the Lucha Brothers and Aussie Open. I'm really thinking they're actually going to put the belts. But then there's also the Kingdom. And the Kingdoms are kind of OGs when it comes to like the last run of Ring of Honor. So, you know what? I'm going to live a little dangerously. I'm going to go ahead and say the Kingdom picks it up, because they also have the advantage of Maria being on the outside as well.
True.
So I'm gonna give it to them, but it's difficult because like you have these 5 teams already, and this one like that you never know, they could actually throw in the Bucks for a surprise 6 team, and if that's the case, I'm gonna put my money on them. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say the shock pick of the Kingdom.
I feel like the Kingdom's the safest pick, like you said, considering they are 3-time 6-man World Tag Team champions, and the OGK, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, are former 2-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team champions. They actually are, I feel, the safest pick based on
it's weird to actually see them as underdogs in this match, but they kind of are because you have top flight who's like you're gonna be bouncing all over the ring. You got the Lucha Brothers who've like had some epic matches with the Bucks when it comes to ladder matches.
Escalade to that way there.
And like Los I can't pronounce it.
Los Gobernables de Facción, but that's why I'm here. By the way, Jay,
thank you. They're like, they're Mexican.
Ole.
But yeah, I'm gonna say the Kingdom.
All right. JJ, you of course have followed PWG. You followed some of these competitors to a degree. So what's your take on this new Ring of Honor, considering what could be Tony Khan's vision for this tag team division that could separate it from AEW, considering Top Flight is an AEW tag team. So is Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at these teams and I look at what I see on Dynamite and Rampage on a regular basis, and I get the feeling that Tony really wants to push Top Flight. He just doesn't want to pull the trigger on giving them the AEW tag titles.
That's right.
So I'm actually looking for them to take the upset and to take the straps here.
Ooh.
The reason I wouldn't go with Top Flight, and the other reason is because Darius is so prone to injury at this point.
Jeez, you had to bring that bad history.
No, I don't want to bring it up, but at the same time, like, yeah, remember, like, his brother's been plenty of matches in AEW, like just in like random singles matches, trios matches, all these matches, and he's stayed pretty healthy. But at the same time, his brother's he's a risk.
So it's like Matt and Jeff. Got it.
Yeah.
Except these brothers are both level-headed right now. But then they're also just starting their career. So
exactly. I mean, I could be completely shooting in the dark here, but just something about the presentation I've seen from Top Flight tells me Tony wants to pull the trigger on them. And it would be a good test. It would be at least a good test run for them as champions to be the Ring of Honor tag champions, which because like AEW is kind of considering like Ring of Honor damn near developmental at this point compared to what they are. Yeah, so it sucks to say for Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor is essentially AEW's version of NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I've heard people call this Ring of Honor pay-per-view, as it stands with 4 official matches, a
Ring of Honor takeover.
They're trying to take over Friday. But keep in mind, this is Friday that they're doing this, dead middle of the day.
Taking over the same time WWE is trying to run SmackDown in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. Well, they never overlap the Hall of Fame, thankfully, but SmackDown.
Yeah. So my official pick, Noah, is Top Flight.
All right, Jeff. I see you're wearing the shirt, boy, and I know how deep the Briscoes run with you. So again, Mark doesn't have to tell me that. Mark's met the Briscoes, God bless him. So that being said, what's your thoughts on this reset for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Division? Who you got?
Bring up the image one more time because there's 5 teams and I can't keep them all straight.
Fair enough. Let me see.
Yeah,
I'll just do this. I'll just do the collage.
Okay, that'll work. Well, I don't see Roosh and Spanish dude. Thank you. I can't. Sorry, I don't see them doing it. I do agree that Ring of Honor is now becoming kind of like the developmental of AEW. So I can totally get with Top Flight doing this, but I got a part of me wants to go with the Lucha Brothers. It's kind of like a toss up between the two. Yeah, it's like it's a toss up of the two right now.
That's the reason I was going to go. That's the reason I was going to go with them because they've actually actively been endorsed by Mark Briscoe.
Exactly.
Right. That's where I was thinking that too because of that whole 6-man tag that they had. I'm going to go Lucha. I'm going to go Lucha Brothers on this one.
All right. Former AEW World Tag Team Champions. Now they are now the Lucha Brothers come for the first time ever, might I add. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. That's for a shout out. again, Kingdom's safest bet based on prior experience. But in a new era of Honor, why not have a team that maybe never done it? I mean, Aussie Open just beat Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. My God, that was an incredible match. And then you got Top Flight in the Kingdom that still have fun with each other that literally might cost each other in this match. Matt Taven, of course, won with a purple ladder back in 2019 G1 Supercard, the Ring of Our World Championship. But the tag team titles, I don't see a purple ladder coming to play here. And then you have Los Fascistas Ingobernables that are violent and will run roughshod. And I don't know whether or not they have any love lost with the Lucha Brothers. So there's a lot of inner turmoil with all 5 of these teams where somebody could just sneak in and climb up and seize the gold. But I feel like for me, just because I do think Ring of Honor is going to start out kind of like how AEW did with OGs, with recognized names, I feel the Kingdom is going to surprise. It wouldn't surprise if it comes down to the Kingdom and Top Flight, and you have the Kingdom pull off some shenanigans, maybe a belt to the face, and they seize the gold. And again, they have a third factor, Maria Kanellis. Why Jose the assistant is in La Fascistas Ingobernables' corner. Maria versus Jose. Gee, who I'm picking in that match, I wonder. I think I'm going to go with the Kingdom here. The 2019 bit me in the ass when I didn't, so I think I'm going to go with the Kingdom here. That Kingdom rises again. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this up briefly because, I mean, y'all can barely say names, but maybe y'all can actually pick a winner for this because as Ring of Honor does, with not only New Japan, they also have partnerships with AAA and other promotions, CMLL, you name it, out of Mexico. As El Hijo del Vikingo defends the AAA Mega Championship against Commander. And this is their second ever one-on-one encounter. While El Hijo has held this title now for 476 days, this will be his 9th defense of the title. And these two have not met each other since 2022 when Commander was formerly known as Arcano. There is 1 year difference of experience with these two. El Hijo has 10 years in the game. Commander has 11 years in the game. And, of course, El Hijo won this title off of Rey Fenix as literally successfully defended against him and also have overcome the likes of Bandito. It feels like for me, especially after what we just, for those that never even heard this guy and saw what happened on Dynamite, Jesus, I feel like, yes, enough said. I feel like El Hijo
Dude's invincible.
Seems like it anyway. Jesus, I thought he broke his damn neck on that one spot. That was super close.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the hard part of the ring.
Well, for those that don't know, I think El Hijo is going to retain here. I think El Hijo is going to retain. JJ, what's your thoughts regarding this? Does El Hijo or Commander or this title, or based on the fact this is going to be a Lucha Libre showcase, does this remind you maybe of anything you've seen out of like PWG or anybody you saw like, you know, up and coming? Like, what's your thoughts towards this?
This is the one match that I have like no dog in the fight for, like for real.
Exactly.
I know little to nothing about either one of these gentlemen. I'm going to go with El Hijo to retain, though. You know, the fact that he's had the belt as long as that he has, and he's only had 9 defenses, kind of, you know, doesn't seem like he's that fighting of a champion. But maybe AAA has different regulations as far as how often their champions have to defend and everything, unlike the States.
Yeah.
But I'm going to look for him to retain because everything I've read, heard, and seen, he put on a hell of a performance in AEW this week. So I don't think Tony's going to book him to lose if he's that high up on him, where he's calling him versus Omega a dream match.
For wrestling fans and the educated.
And then for him to throw him in this and job him out, have him lose the belt.
Well, I mean, again,
doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, about to say. I mean, to be fair, they are both out of AAA, so job might be a bit of a word that you don't use with these two here.
Well, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't see
absolutely.
Tony Khan hyping him up to the level he did and then making him...
Or to have him lose the next show, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jeff, what's your thoughts regarding anything with this match or El Hijo del Vikingo? Ricard, maybe that was the first time you saw him ever in action too.
It was, and it got me thinking: is he 100% going into this match? Because this only happened the other night, so it's like
Right.
you know the match with Omega was Wednesday, so it's like I went with what he went through in that match. I don't think he's going to be 100%, but I think he's going to be good enough to go where he can defend the championship. 470 some odd days, you can't knock that. Commander, I think I remember seeing him once on AEW TV,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, and I don't actually remember how good he did. That's if that tells you anything.
Great cooks on
I've got
fire.
yeah. I've got to have El Hijo retain on this one.
All right. Jerry, what's your take with these two and this match?
Well, my mentality is this, especially when it comes to El Hijo de Vikingo. He's got 9 title defenses under his belt, but that's just title defenses. That doesn't mean he hasn't been off in tag matches. Doesn't mean he's been off in other companies doing other matches.
And yes, he has
no
been
doubt
with other companies, including GCW.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations where, yeah, the guy can keep on going. He can keep on going, and if he can build the same kind of momentum he did with Omega, of course he's going to pick up the victory this coming week. And also, yeah, the stamina is off the charts with the guy. It's insane. It was insane to watch that match in general because there's 5 or 6 different spots. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have gotten up. I don't think a lot of these wrestlers would have gotten up from him. Right. But sure enough, he did, and he just kept on going. And I think he's going to be a fighting champion. I think he's got at least another 400 days in him. So I don't see him dropping the belt, especially at the first time the Ring of Honor is actually showcasing that title on one of their pay-per-views.
Right, because AEW did that on both TV and during the pandemic and stuff like that. The same title held by Kenny Omega, by the way. How ironic. Before Kenny Omega basically took it from Rey Fenix, and Omega had to relinquish it. And Omega, of course, went through the likes of Jack Evans, Sammy Guevara, Laredo Kid, Andrade El Idolo. Andrade get well soon. And he's trying to surpass Kenny Omega's record. Kenny Omega held that title for 765 days. So the King goes already over the halfway point. And the fact that was the first time ever one-on-one encounter with those two. I hope it's not their last. But yeah, I feel like Hijo de Vikingo is going to shock and awe everybody in Ring of Honor. And I think he is going to retain. All right. Well, that was pretty simple. Let's go ahead and talk about a match, though, with much more merit here. And both of these I have thoughts about. But, man, I got to go with that boy because I love Nick Karate. So let's go ahead and talk about this one because he said that title is his destiny. We're going to see finally if destiny is fulfilled. As them boy, Mark Briscoe, looks to overcome, good Lord, the self-proclaimed king of television and the current Ring of Honor television champion, Samoa Joe. Oh, boy. So there's a lot of history here with these two. I don't think I need to tell anybody, but I mean, let's just put it out there. Samoa Joe is honor, is Ring of Honor, period, point blank. As far as this title, though, this title run, he's held up for 346 days, and this will be his 8th defense of the title since beating Minoru Suzuki for it last year. We saw what he did with Cheeseburger in less than 2 minutes. Jesus, that was overkill. But Mark Briscoe, heavily accoladed primarily in tag team gold across the wrestling industry. Not just 13-time Ring of Honor champion. He's been champion in HOG, NWA, GHC, IWGP, with, of course, God rest his soul, Jay Briscoe. But he has challenged for this title before. It was back in 2003. He actually challenged Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Championship and lost. He is actually challenged for this title now. This will be his 9th time challenging for this title. Not against Samoa Joe, but just in general. He's lost this title against the likes of Jay Lethal, Matt Taven, Bobby Fish, Christopher Daniels, and Kenny King, just to name a few. The only time he's gotten the better of Samoa Joe is in tag team action. Go figure. So, again, Mark Briscoe, God bless him. He has that spirit that keeps the Briscoe name alive. But just like Cody, when he first came in AEW and put it all on the line, he didn't win, but he still kept going. Mark Briscoe, for me, I don't know if I see him becoming the Ring of Honor television champion right now out the gate, considering Samoa Joe already lost the TNT championship. I feel Samoa Joe's going to be a mainstay for Ring of Honor, actually, for the long going. I can see this going longer, so I'm going to start off and say that I think Samoa Joe is going to retain, because Samoa Joe has to remind Mark Briscoe exactly who he is. So I'm going with Samoa Joe retaining. JJ, what's your thoughts on this?
All right. This one is really tough for me. Honestly, I feel this should be the main event of the night.
Yeah.
Over the Ring of Honor World title.
I agree.
Samoa Joe is one of those guys that I've seen come up from nothing, considering he trained and started cutting his name in the SoCal scene, Ultimate Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Ring of Honor, TNA, etc., etc. Mark Briscoe, it is well documented. I've said numerous times on multiple streams that I am not a Briscoes fan. Me and Jeff both have had heat with the Briscoes because there was a time in their career where they were booked multiple times to come to PWG and they just decided to no-show. So every time we'd see their names on a card, we'd be like, they actually going to show up this time? Are we not worthy of them coming out here to fight? They're booked. What's their excuse this time? Tragedy being what it is, losing Jay Briscoe, I've softened up quite a bit as far as they go.
I feel like a lot of people has.
We talk a lot, and we're going to talk more tomorrow when we do Simply Predicting for WrestleMania. We've talked a lot this year about finishing the story.
Yes.
It's Mark Briscoe's time to finish the story. Mark Briscoe needs to defeat Joe and take that title. It's just one of those things. I think that this entire weekend, from Multiverse United to Ring of Honor to Stand and Deliver to WrestleMania, that's going to be a common thread, is people trying to finish their story. And what better, bow on top of essentially the tragedy of Jay's death than Mark finally being able to win the belt that he's tried, as you said, 9 times to win and never been successful.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be able to stand over a fallen Samoa Joe,
which is crazy,
and raise that Ring of Honor television title in the air, you can't get much better than that.
That place will explode. Follow that, Claudio.
Especially when there's a huge question mark over Mania Sunday and whether or not Cody will finish his story, which, again, we'll get to that tomorrow. But
oh, yes, we will. Very fair analysis there, JJ. Jerry, the last time Mark Briscoe actually faced Samoa Joe was back in 2006. We've seen how far both men have come since then. And for the Briscoes, them boys have been nonstop in the tag team wrestling regime, while Samoa Joe has gone on to heavy single accolades, of course, in WWE and TNA. So what's your thoughts on this, Jerry?
My thoughts are, everybody's talking about, finishing a story and whatnot, but Mark Briscoe's story is really just beginning. He's been tied to Jay Briscoe this entire time. So him being free from that and be able to carve his own path, he doesn't have to win this title right now. And I'm thinking 10th time will be a charm. I don't think I think Samoa Joe's going to win. I think Jay Briscoe, yes, him and Mark are brothers, but Samoa Joe was just as close or up there with Jay as well. They went through a lot of crap together, and if they did a lot of great matches. They were on the road a lot together, and it just feels like, as much as Mark's fighting for his spot and almost his piece of the whole thing, Samoa Joe is also fighting for a fallen friend, and that goes a long way. So I think by the end of the match, there will be a show of respect from Samoa Joe to Mark Briscoe, but I don't think Samoa Joe is going to lose. All
right. So there you have it so far. Jeff, let's see where you play in this as well. We'll see if there's a tie or if JJ's in the minority, because I think Joe's going to retain. Jerry thinks Joe's going to retain. JJ thinks Mark will claim. Jeff, what's your stand? There's a reason why I saved you for last, because, again, you're wearing the shirt.
Well, let's go back to the passing. Shortly thereafter, on the memorial special that Ring of Honor did for Jay Briscoe. We heard from Samoa Joe, and Samoa poured his heart out, and multiple tears shed in that little segment.
I
So
cried too.
we know how close Samoa Joe is with the Briscoes. How just about everybody who worked with the Briscoes were close to them. So it just, and the fact that Mark has to give up the tag title, obviously, because his brother is no longer here. He has to give up his championship. What better way than having a guardian angel be by his side during this match and have Mark Briscoe win the television title, so that way he stays a champion? I don't see it going any other way but that. As far as the mutual respect, I do see that. And you're not going to see any backstabbing after the match. You are going to see a handshake, and you're going to maybe even see a hug. And there's not going to be a dry eye in the house. This is Mark's night. Yes, he's given up one championship, but he's gaining another. I have him walking out as the new television champion.
I love the fact that this is dead even, and my God, I could take either of those scenarios, and it's going to be an emotional match, to say the least. I feel like Mark Briscoe is also going to bleed because we know Samoa Joe is going to be in kill mode. But again, we saw what happened when Mark Briscoe, he won his match this past Ring of Honor episode against Tony Nese, embraced his family and the kids there. It's a whole new spirit in Ring of Honor when Mark Briscoe is there, especially more than ever. So I can see both sides of the coin. But again, Samoa Joe is out to remind Mark Briscoe exactly who he is. I don't think Mark Briscoe would want anything less or anything different. But this is one of those matches that truly could go either way, and I would be okay with it because I feel like you basically said
both of it's honoring Jay Briscoe.
Exactly. The show is going to be an honoring to Jay Briscoe. I mean, they literally talked about that before the show was even produced. So I am very curious to see how this card shapes out, not just the ladder match that, again, ladder matches, tag team championships, defined by the Briscoes. And now we'll see if Mark Briscoe basically starts a whole new journey and claims what he believes is a new destiny. This is definitely my most look forward to match, to say the least. So good stuff. All right. Now, that was some real talk, but I'll say this. What Claudio and Eddie Kingston disclosed on Ring of Honor damn sure felt real to me, thinking, okay, so maybe this won't be an absolutely, squash, because I feel there's a lot more personal animosity than Ring of Honor actually told us. Because I gotta be honest, I wasn't sure what to think about this match at first. And then they had to sit down. So I'm just going to simply ask this, and anyone can jump in first if they want. Eddie Kingston, will he finally owe up to himself regardless of this result? The potential. Will he actually rise to what people see in him? And honestly, does he see that potential in himself? And it's like, you know what, whatever. For the first time ever, I feel like Kingston truly cares about a championship match, not just being a part of it. There's a certain pride when it comes to this man's mentality when it comes to the wrestling industry. But Claudio Castagnoli is a wrestler on a whole nother damn level. He is the final boss of Ring of Honor, as he claims, for a reason. A man without honor will never be Ring of Honor champion. Blackpool Combat Club, you call yourself honorable? Honor asterisks. How do you define honor in Claudio Castagnoli in Ring of Honor versus AEW, quote unquote? Are they both the same, or is one different than the other? Crap. It's one of those fans where it's like Eddie Kingston has not had a world championship for the longest damn time, and people think he should be a champion somewhere. Last time he held a championship was 2019 for independent promotion, and people still believe at some point he should be AEW world champion. So put that out there in the ether. As far as this goes, though, again, Ring of Honor, new era, just starting. Keyword, starting. The first pay-per-view of Ring of Honor's year, this year. I think Claudio is going to retain, and I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I feel like the Kingston's going to go down fighting and swinging. But I think Claudio is retaining. Whoever wants to open the floor first, the floor is yours. Take it away.
I think personally that, Kingston when he came out, did that little backstage interview, and the only words he said was "I quit." I immediately was like, okay, so he's definitely Ring of Honor bound. And then we saw him on the very next episode come out to challenge Claudio. Is Eddie Kingston truly worthy of wearing the Ring of Honor championship? That is the question.
Think about the names that you're trying to put with that title.
Right.
Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness, Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, just to name a few.
Right. And that's where I was going through. I was going through the list myself, and I'm like, you put all those names, and then you put the name Eddie Kingston in there, and to me, it just doesn't fit. Now, I'm not saying that Eddie Kingston is not a great wrestler. He is. I give him his due. I mean, he's great, but I don't think that in the eyes of Ring of Honor, what the title stands for, that I don't think I see him. I don't see him walking around with that title. Maybe the television title, definitely not the pure title. But there is no pure about Eddie Kingston.
No.
But there's other championships that he could go for. But the main title, I don't see. I can't picture him with that title around his waist. Claudio for the win on this one to retain.
JJ, the last time that Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston traded a match in Ring of Honor was 2009. It was single expeditions on Ring of Honor television circuit. It's 1-1. They have not met each other since in ring action, despite the fallout. And Claudio literally saying, "You walked away. I stayed and continued working through, rising to my own potential, while you just wasted your own, even though people thought you had this in you." And we've already seen Eddie Kingston's potential called out countless times. Remember CM Punk, because you're a bum? And I still wonder if that is in the back of Eddie Kingston's mind as well. There feels like to me still a lot of bad blood, not just with Eddie Kingston and Claudio, but Eddie Kingston and Ring of Honor in general. So for me, I look at this and talk about storytelling. How's this for a personal perspective? For me, is this for Eddie Kingston maybe a way to try and resolve his past? What's your take on this, JJ? Considering I'm sure you got a lot to say about Eddie Kingston in general.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston's another one that I am not a fan of, have never been a fan of. These words may be harsh, but Eddie Kingston's not qualified to carry the 24/7 title, in my opinion.
Damn.
Ouch.
And that's literally a garbage title.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ouch.
Continue.
I don't see it in Eddie. 15 years ago, maybe. I think back and I remember, when I was coming up in the indie scene, I remember he had a long-standing rivalry with a close personal friend of Claudio Castagnoli's by the name of Chris Hero.
I remember that guy.
And their rivalry was amazing. It carried out here. I don't think Eddie has it. At the end of the day, that's the statement for me. I don't think Eddie has it. I don't see him as a world champion. Like Jeff said, I damn sure don't see him as a pure champion.
Farthest thing from pure.
Maybe a tag champion.
I mean, yeah.
But no, Claudio retains and just keeps on going.
Jerry, anything to add beyond that?
Remember Takeshi Morishima?
I've never
had pretty lengthy title reign in Ring of Honor. Beat Bryan Danielson a bunch of times. Actually, damn near knocked his eye out of his socket at one point.
About to say he almost made him a one-eyed man.
Yes, very unorthodox. not what you would think would be the Ring of Honor champion. Not the most technical guy on the planet. His finishing move is a backdrop driver. He pretty much just picked the dude up and dropped him up behind them on their heads, and that was the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Kingston, like his idols are some like these unorthodox Japanese wrestlers that you wouldn't think would be like, champions.
Kings Road.
So this would be his crowning achievement if he was able to take the same mold of his like fallen heroes and whatnot and actually beat one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet currently. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to go with Eddie Kingston on this one.
Wow.
And also, let's factor in the fact that right now the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be doing this whole like angle with like pretty much the Bucks, Team Elite, everybody at this point in AEW. That's going to make him very, very, very busy. So, and Eddie Kingston is would be one of those champions that people would tune into, not just for his passionate promos, but as horrible as it sounds, the possibility of him losing. Well, sometimes you want to see if these certain people will actually beat Eddie Kingston and how he will actually like retain that title. So I'm actually going to go with Eddie Kingston for this one.
Wow.
Now you mentioned the Blackpool Combat Club, running with the Elite and stuff like that. You're forgetting there is another member, and that's Bryan Danielson. He currently has no title. He's not in a title picture right now. He can be the one to replace Claudio in the trios matches, and Claudio can still be Ring of Honor champion.
That's where I'm also thinking about at this point. I was thinking he will lose Claudio will lose the belt, and Bryan Danielson said he wants to go home.
That's
home
is Ring of Honor. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like he's not really doing anything with the Blackpool Combat Club. He hasn't since like Regal left.
Right.
That's fair.
So for him to go back home to Ring of Honor to try to regain the championship, and him versus like him having a series of matches or just even one match with Eddie Kingston, that's your main event. That's your pay-per-view. That's perfect.
But what would be the better draw, Jerry? Danielson versus Kingston or Danielson versus Claudio?
That is a good debate, but at the same time,
good counterpoint.
Yeah, it's an excellent counterpoint. But I don't see Claudio and Danielson butting heads about anything at this point. I'm not sure what would actually get them to. I don't see why it would go that way. But at the same time, yeah, if Claudio does retain, but if it's by nefarious means, like he actually cheats Eddie Kingston out of his match somehow. Yeah, I can actually see Bryan Danielson coming back like, whoa, that's not how we do things.
You just made the perfect point as to how they could come to a head with this. Danielson hasn't done anything since Regal left.
Yeah.
Right.
So Danielson shows up, let's say theoretically, at the end of the match. Claudio retains, even if it's not by dubious means. Danielson issues the challenge out, and Claudio's like, where the hell have you been? We've been trying to do Blackpool Combat Club stuff, and you've been off in Neverland.
Yeah.
So you could also just the fact that he's been kind of on the outs, he's been there, but not really there. Since Regal left, that's all the story you need right there.
You could also go with the angle of him going after Yuta.
Yeah, there's
Danielson Yuta, because Danielson would make a great pure champion. With his style and everything like that.
He redefined the championship at one point.
Yeah. So I think that could be another angle that they could go to, seeing as though he hasn't had anything to do with the Combat Club since Regal left. There's multiple branches to this tree that you could pick from, and I'm actually anxious to see where this goes, because now that you bring up Danielson, I see him playing a part in either of the matches. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and again, we also remember Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston. They've only had one singles encounter in AEW, and it was on Rampage during the Grand Slam tournament, I believe. And it was a banger of an opener, and both men knocked each other out clean. Eddie Kingston defiant, though, flipped the bird and still fell to the triangle choke. So, I mean, to run that back in Ring of Honor would definitely be something special. To see Bryan Danielson back in Ring of Honor in general would be extremely special, I believe, especially heading to the next pay-per-view, which I believe would be based on the pay-per-view cycle if they continue the way they have like last year, Death Before Dishonor. So, and again, and with a name like that, and Kyle questioning Eddie Kingston's honor, but Eddie Kingston trying to show his own form of honor. Eddie Kingston, Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson. There is a unique triangle of storytelling among all three of those men, any way you put it, and necessarily doesn't have to be surrounding the Ring of Honor World Championship. That could just be playing as accessory. Yeah, so I like that. I like this dynamic a lot. So theoretically, why this match on paper looks like there might be more to this than meets the eye. So
and another name, Noah, that would be a great fit for Death Before Dishonor is a man who's been generating some buzz this past week, finally posting on social media for the first time in forever. CM Punk.
CM Punk. Oh gosh, yeah, that's a whole nother.
You want to talk about a homecoming in Ring of Honor?
As long as it's not Chicago, because I feel
and
like Chicago
it
right now
gets him away from the AEW locker room, which is supposedly so toxic for him.
That's true, allegedly. For him.
Well, here's another scenario. You talk about him going back home. What if back home could be NXT? What if he shows up with Regal?
That would be hilarious. I mean, and I'd pop hard.
I understand that the Bellas are no longer part, know, and they're gone now. They're now back to their original Garcia name. But what if? I mean, there's always what ifs in the world of professional wrestling. There's just so many what ifs. That could be a possible scenario.
Before he dies.
Shows up to mentor Charlie Dempsey until Regal shows up. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, but Charlie Dempsey right now is mentoring Drew Gulak, and that just seems bizarre in its own right. But hey, a teacher can learn from a student that owns a style now that a teacher mastered then. And Drew Gulak, again, he's the guy that created Catchpoint and Evolve and defined technical wrestling. But you talk about Bryan Danielson, where he could show up. I'm, of course, watching Japan Pro Wrestling. Interesting teaser reveal about somebody coming soon. There's Earth, there's Fire, but then there's look like a wolf or maybe the Eye of the Tiger, or I don't know. People are speculating Bryan Danielson might show up in New Japan Pro Wrestling because he wants to participate in the G1, and that's coming up this summer. So what if he's going home to where he really trained and owned himself in Japanese professional wrestling in Japan?
Or maybe it's the band Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, he's got too many homes.
Right? I don't think they do the G1 in September. I think they do it during the summer. But while we think about what's next for Bryan Danielson, what's next for Ring of Honor World Championship, what's next for Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston, and now I'm much more invested in this match than before. So great job, everybody. Let's go ahead and switch gears now to see if JJ's brand will particularly stand and deliver. As of course, the following day we have our Saturday opening feature event, and that is NXT Stand and Deliver. And for those that don't know, that will, of course, be on the Peacock, and it will be starting 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, emanating from Los Angeles, California. And yes, folks, this is the same day as, why do you do this, NXT? The same day as WrestleMania Night freaking 1, you freaking bloody loons. But that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this card, because I will say they don't call it TakeOver, but Jerry, you and I grew up with the black and gold, and JJ, I will give credit where credit is due. Your NXT looks like it truly is trying to stand and deliver with a card like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so stoked for this show, Noah. And I still think that there might be one more match added to make it an even 8.
I still think
what it is, I think, is still questionable. You know, possibly Dempsey versus Hank Walker, the security guard dude that's been like kind of getting his foot into the wrestling.
That's
or
fair.
Maybe it'll be the next chapter of Apollo Crews versus Dabo Kato or whatever. I know I botched his name.
Dabocado.
No, you got it.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah,
you got it. Avocado, yes.
I
I call him Debo Keto, but you know, I didn't want to do that on the show.
AKA Commander Aziz.
Exactly.
The next chapter there,
yes.
Next chapter there, or the Dempsey Walker thing. I see something with that possibly being thrown on there. Like I said, make it a full 8-match card, but this is going to be good. I'm excited for this match, this card.
Well, let's go ahead and dive right into it. And when I think about NXT, at least what I think it used to be, and honestly, based on the fact we called Vengeance Day, and you and I will be calling this, it wouldn't surprise me if we kick things off with the guy that's being called the Cardiac Kid. But I'm pretty sure this match is going to give him a heart attack, especially if he doesn't win. As this guy loves chaos, and the NXT North American Championship is now in a 5-way freaking open challenge. That graphic, folks, does not deceive you. Wesley is defending this title, and no, it is not a ladder match. It is a 5-way challenge. Wesley defends against the former Jordan Devlin, JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov. Yes, that is Dragon Lee, folks, former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and this will be his NXT in-ring debut. If this guy doesn't surpass what freaking Ricochet did back at NXT TakeOver New Orleans in that ladder match, I will be highly disappointed. And while you all see vacant, I want to say yes to NoDQ. Shout out to NoDQ.com. For those that don't know, this upcoming NXT Go Home was taped in advance. So hashtag spoiler alert, because heck, we got a full card as of right now. So for those that don't know or want to be muted or leave, the fifth person was determined in a battle royal, as most things are when it comes to last chance efforts. And the last person is 3, 2, 1. Kid, aka Axiom. Axiom survived the Battle Royale, outlasting the likes of Nathan Frazier, who he has incredible history with, and rounds out the field of 5. So Wesley defends the gold against Ilya Dragunov, JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, and Axiom. Okay, JJ, this is the opening match. This is your NXT. We got to kick things off with you. Go ahead and take a pick.
I was just going to ask you, sir, is this 1 or 2 picks that we get for this one?
Well, based on NoDQ history, I've seen fields of 6 minimum where you have 2 picks. So since this is 5, it's 1 pick and done.
Okay.
1 and done.
That makes it a little bit tougher for me to try and narrow down.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
As much as it pains me to do this, I'm going to immediately eliminate Jordan Devlin and Ilya Dragunov, because I feel like they're on the cusp of being ready to go up to the main roster. So putting the belt on them would just keep them there longer. They've got such a great rivalry, such a great feud. That needs to be on Raw or SmackDown so that they can continue their story. So that takes me down to 3 now.
Yes.
As much as I love what Wesley has been doing with this, I don't see him getting out of this match as champion. Axiom has been fighting super hard to get a title shot. Every time an open challenge has been done, he has been that close to being able to get in the ring and get the match. But I think he's going to miss it again by that much.
And the mask blocks his vision. He trips up.
I'm picking Dragon Lee to take this.
Wow, Dragon Lee becomes champion in his debut. All right.
Wouldn't be the first time. When Gail Kim made her main roster debut, she won the title. When Paige made her main roster debut, she won the title.
AJ Lee.
Dragon Lee, you know, he's only even been on NXT television for less than a month. You know, he was ringside when we did that TV special, whatever it was, a few weeks back. Thank you.
Roblox.
That was his television debut, was sitting ringside for that. And since then, here he is in a title match in less than a month.
Yep.
They're banking on Dragon Lee. And I'll touch on this a little bit more tomorrow, but with Rey Mysterio and Dominic finally happening and having been made official, and everybody thinking that with Rey going in the Hall of Fame, this could be the end of his career. Here's the new Rey Mysterio, essentially, to make his name and begin his journey in the company. The new masked luchador that can be marketed to the kids and mask replicas sold and all that stuff. Action figure ready.
The marketing.
Got to think about it. It's a business at the end of the day.
Right.
All right. So he's got Dragon Lee. So, Jerry, Wesley has been the NXT North American champion now for 154 days. He's defended against Dijak, who broke his finger during the match. Damn. Nathan Frazier, Von Wagner, whoever the hell that is, and of course Carmelo Hayes, who was the most predominant face of this title before Leslie won it in a ladder match. So Wesley became champion in the multi-person affair. Does he lose it now in a multi-person affair? He wanted this. He asked for this. I mean, again, be careful what you wish for. Shawn Michaels granted it to him. Is he going to regret it? What's your take?
I think this will be the proving ground for him because a lot of his matches have been singles matches. So for him to be in a situation where he's got four or five other guys going after a title too, it's only going to make him hungrier, or it's going to make him strategize even more to the fact and pick his spots, which is the most important thing you can do in that kind of match.
Right.
Every fiber of my being is telling me that he's going to retain, and I'm not sure how he's going to do it. Maybe it'll be a surprise roll up on Axiom. That just seems like it makes a little bit of sense to me. Maybe Axiom thinks he wins the match, but he doesn't, and then he gets rolled up. If this is an elimination match, it'd be a lot easier probably to pick. But it's not an elimination match. It's one fall to a finish, and I think Wesley's going to pull it off.
Ooh, boy. Well,
interesting take, Jerry.
Well, also, as you alluded to, I mean, you see the picture. How many times have Axiom and Wesley been backstage? And it seems like, mutual respect. The champion's out to prove a point. He has a major chip on his shoulder. But who's to say that he won't reach a point where he feels like now, okay, I got to prove not only why I am the champ, but I need to stay as champion. I mean, Trey Miguel did. He's the new face now of the X Division, and he literally put his own mark on the title. I don't think Wesley's going to do that, considering he is a former Rascal, but...
I'm getting the same vibes at this point. I'm seeing like more or less a heel turn out of Wesley from this.
Well, I mean, look what happened with Katana Chance and Kane and Carl when they lost the titles, but that was after they lost. I mean, who's to say he won't do that to preserve? I'm kind of with you. I mean, again, Dragon Lee just got signed. This is his debut. I just don't see it happening out the gate. I'm actually kind of with you on this one, Jerry. I'm thinking Wesley somehow, again, he put himself on this. And he has to prove himself. You need to back up what you said, Cardiac Kid. I feel like right now he has to. In my opinion, it's do or die for him. I'm actually going with you. I think Wesley is retaining. Jeff, what's your thoughts on this five-way dance? Good luck.
Oh, well, gee, thanks.
No pressure, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
I mean, how can I follow all of this? It's just everyone has said some really, really, really good points. And I myself am down to two people, as well as JJ was. I am down to Wesley, and I'm down to Dragon Lee. Either way, Ali is going to leave. Ali is going to leave. Yes. NXT Stand and Deliver as champion.
All right.
And yes, I agree. You have these people that have won on their debut. You mentioned Gail Kim. You mentioned Paige. I mentioned yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I mentioned Carlito. Remember when he won the U.S. title on his first day?
Oh,
who did he beat?
I forgot about that.
John Cena. He beat John Cena for that U.S. title. So debuts and someone getting the title is no stranger to WWE in general. I honestly, the way they've been hyping up Dragon Lee, the way Dragon Lee's been online, online since leaving AEW and becoming a free agent, since the day that he mentioned on his Twitter, NXT, he has mentioned that. Since then, they've been hyping up Dragon Lee. Right. You can't hype someone up this high and not have him leave as the victor, because then it's like, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Well, where does he go at this point? He's just coming in and he got, smashed because he lost. Now what do we do? And unless they bring back the Cruiserweight Championship, that could be a possibility too, which I have been hearing rumors that is on the table. It has not been official yet, but I say, you know what? Leave the Cruiserweight Championship. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah,
let it be. But I think honestly, this is the perfect opportunity for new blood to really, really shine. Stand and deliver. WrestleMania weekend. This is the time to do it. Dragon Lee is going to leave your new North American heavyweight champion.
It's a compelling point, and you talk about the never-ending story. Dragunov is going to basically do everything possible to make sure that JD McDonough does become champion, and vice versa. They literally were added to this match because the damn singles ended in disqualification because they literally attacked Dragon Lee, and then Wesley threw over the top rope, wiped everybody out, and we had a chaotic brawl. So,
So we all agree it's going to be a Lee.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
We all at least can agree that's going to be a Lee, but a couple of us believe
Team
that
Lee
is going to retain. Well, he's limitless.
And like I said, it pains me to have to throw Devlin and Dragunov completely out of the match because I love them both.
They should be their own match.
Devlin made
Such a
NXT
fan
UK
of
for me.
Irish Ace, like for real.
Well,
I added his theme song to my Spotify playlist.
You're brilliant.
So I'll drive around freaking doing my Lyft driving, just grooving to Devlin's music. But they are such a combustible element. I don't even know if they're going to get that involved in the match. They're going to be so busy beating the piss out of each other.
I was figuring that Celia and JD were going to be a one-on-one at Stand and Deliver, and that would be the end game for them. Because come on.
When you brought the idea of them being on Raw, showing up on Raw or SmackDown, I just had this vision in my head of them fighting to backstage at NXT and then just rolling out on stage like on Raw SmackDown.
Oh, no, they're still fighting the following night. Later on that night at WrestleMania.
They start rolling down the ramps.
Because the Raw after Mania is going to be at the same place as Stand and Deliver.
Exactly.
So just have them start fighting at Stand and Deliver, have them disappear from the match, and then have them come out on the Tron on the Raw after Mania, and they're still fighting.
And they're found in a room just fighting while practically passed out.
See, I personally like this idea. I have them fighting down the ramp at WrestleMania during the Intercontinental title match. And you know Ilya is he first of all, he's not done with Gunther. I know this. The story is not over. So I know immediately that if Ilya gets drawn up to the main roster, he is going to SmackDown. Because he's going to continue to fight with Gunther.
If you've actually seen them as a tag team too, they're fantastic.
And
I haven't actually.
Keep in mind, along with
WXW
bringing them on SmackDown, there's also a guy by the name of Pete Dunne alongside of Sheamus that they can have banners with too.
I feel like they're going to do Pete Dunne versus Gunther sooner rather than later. Now, whether or not it's for the Intercontinental Championship, maybe we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But let's go ahead and look at this.
They had that match last night, and it did not compare at all between Gunther and. It did not compare to their last one.
Why?
Yeah.
TV. Has anyone from Impact been pushed so heavy as Wesley? Maybe besides Samoa Joe. Maybe. Well, that's true considering he was formerly involved in Impact Wrestling. I'm trying to think.
Just that AJ Styles guy. I wouldn't worry too much about him now.
Yeah, that's true.
LA Knight. Eli Drake.
Impact World Champion. I'm going to have a rant, by the way, about that tomorrow. He's in that stupid, pointless strike. Anyway, that's a whole different tangent.
Bobby Lashley.
Bull crap, to put it friggin' sensible. Bull crap. But anyway, all right, good stuff. Yeah, AJ Styles be the most primary candidate. I'm trying to think of anybody else from
Bobby Roode.
Glorious! That was my
God, I missed that. I miss Glorious Bombs.
Yep.
So there's a few names there, Dwayne, just to name a few, and then of course you got the Canadian Destroyer, Petey Williams as an agent.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Which Scott D'Amore freaking hated the Canadian Destroyer last night. Like, what the hell?
I did not expect that on my 2023 wrestling bingo card. Oh my god.
It wasn't on mine either.
Okay, well there you go. At least we got that.
It was my center square. It was my free space.
That's a free spot. I know how bingo works.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and line up the pieces in this ritual that was done at midnight. And also there might be an after party at midnight, but not particularly with the two with the prize. As the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line for Fallon Henry, Kiana James, defending them against Alba Fire, Kilere, and Isla Dawn, the witch of NXT UK. And ever since this duo came together, the challengers, I mean, they've kind of run roughshod in everyone else's mentality, including Ivy Nyland and Paxley that are no longer a tag team. But Fallon Henry knows apparently some dark secrets, or should I say, business strategies that Kiana James refuses to basically unveil. And I feel they're finally going to come ahead at Stand and Deliver. So this teenage drama needs to end, in my opinion. I'm just going to simply say that we get new tag team champions because, in my opinion, these titles are the most flip-flop titles in the entire WWE ecosystem because there is no depth. At least with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, that makes sense because these two are actually a cohesive unit that have worked together before they came into WWE and before they were part of NXT UK. Clearly, there's going to be a separation because country and city don't mix. I've seen it too many times in TV. I'm sure music has even talked about that. So I'm just going to say we got new NXT Women Tag Team Champions. Jeff, your thoughts on this?
I think Fallon better go back to tending bar. She's having so many issues right now with Kiana James. It's not even funny. And you cannot work as a cohesive unit with all these issues. Therefore, unfortunately, they're just a transition champion. And I hate using that phrase. But in this case, I had no other option but to say it. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn to win. I've been a big Alba Fire, aka Kaylee Ray fan since day one. You're welcome. And Alba Fire, it's just, Isla Dawn, she's got something, this whole, witch, aura about her that it brings something different to the table, other than just, yeah, I'm a mean woman going to beat you up. Now you got someone who's kind of like along the same lines of a Papa Shango. You want to compare? Here's the comparison. She's like the female version of Papa Shango.
I remember that ref spot very well.
I mean, this is, I think, fantastic. We haven't seen anything like this since, when was Papa Shango in? 91, 92?
Early 90s, to say the least.
So we haven't seen any hocus pocus, witchcraft stuff since then. So I like this. And they've got a great opportunity here, and they will leave as your new women's tag team champions.
There you go. Dwayne Atkinson comparing Impact Wrestling, talking about witches. We got the People's Witch last night to the Wild with the Tower kind of King, Don and Alba Fire versus the Coven. Book it now. That's a forbidden door that Triple H and Shawn Michaels will never open. Oh, that maybe no. I shouldn't say never, but this is WWE. I'm just saying. Jerry, what's your thoughts on this? We, of course, follow the black and red to the very end, and now we have two of our favorites in the white and gold. Do they finally get their first piece of gold?
Oh, I never liked Out of the Dawn when it was like a whole NXT UK thing.
You were a Ginny guy, but you still followed along. You were a Ginny guy. And
yeah, but like Out of the Dawn, I'm like, is she a vampire? Is she a witch? I couldn't make heads or tails at all. And like, no, she had the fangs and everything going. I'm like, what are you doing? It did seem like, she had fangs. Huh. It didn't seem like she had any idea of what she was doing at that point. So for her to finally get more or less, not really even repackaged, just more a solidified gimmick for this part, I'm enjoying it. And I'm enjoying Alba Fire because Kaylee Ray is just a fantastic talent and she's feisty. And I like feisty. So, but I think the only reason that the belts were put on those two was just to take them off of them. That's going to make their rivalry that they already were teasing and already went through that much more potent if they drop the titles this quickly. So, yeah, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to walk out the champions.
JJ, do we finally find out who the hell Sebastian is? And do we just get one of those usual Control-C, done on every channel on TV, love drama breakup story?
More than likely, yes. I like Fallon. Kiana is one of those characters that even when she debuted, I was kind of hesitant to get behind her. And then I started seeing what she was doing with Briggs. And I was like, okay, maybe she's starting to win me over.
Eh.
But there was just that something about her that I still didn't trust.
Well, she is a businesswoman. You know how far you can trust a businesswoman as somebody who works in business. But don't worry, I can handle your money properly.
Yeah,
Anyway.
absolutely.
Business.
And then I
Yeah, I'm all
think it's
business.
funny. I think it's funny that Jeff over here made the comparison to Papa Shango, because this whole Alba Fire Isla Dawn thing kind of threw me back to the beginnings of the Brood.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, when
That's fair.
Gangrel first debuted,
Yep.
and Edge was feuding with Gangrel before he became Brood. You know,
And
Isla
Isla
Dawn
Dawn had
showed up, and
bangs,
we
too.
had Alba Fire and Isla Dawn feuding for a little bit, and then they merged together as a team.
Damn.
You know, I really kind of went back there with them. They just need that Christian to round out the stable there, and they'd totally be a modern day Brood.
Wonder who
But
that could be.
A modern day female
I-
Brood, a relaunch. I
Right?
like that.
Call Gangrel up.
He's not
working-
doing nothing. Trust me, I know.
I think he works down in Florida or something like that. Anyway.
But I really like Isla Dawn. I didn't at first. It took me a few weeks to like really kind of see what she was doing and become a fan of her work.
That's fair.
Alba Fire, I kind of took to right away. You're Kaylee Ray.
Damn
I'll
right.
try to address her by her name.
Look,
Yeah.
people are going to judge me all they want when it comes to W name conventions, but I am what I am.
I know. It just helps that Dwayne threw it in the comments so I can actually look at it so I can say it. Otherwise, I'd have no idea her name. So I could just look in the comments here and be like, oh, Kaylee Ray. There we go.
You're killing me.
I've
Anyway.
been taught by Noah some of these people. That's why you heard me say Jordan Devlin earlier, not JD McDonough.
Right.
That's why you heard me say
Habit.
Pete Dunne.
No.
and not Wood.
He's
It's
Jordan Devlin McDonough.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, JD. Right.
Scrooge
Exactly.
McDuck, but I digress.
It's just too long to put on the screen.
But
Yeah.
I definitely think Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to take this. We're going to end the soap opera that is Fallon and Kiana. I don't know why we couldn't have just had Alba and Isla versus Caden and Katana.
Thank you.
You know, Noah made that point yesterday post sacrifice, which if you guys missed our coverage, go across the multiverse of media, check out the commentary, but it just don't get it. But new tag champs, I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah, pretty much this match was unanimous. And like I said, I'm glad to see how far Tessa Price came since I first saw her work in AW Dark out of the Michigan area and adopting to this country girl character of Fallon Henry. And, you know, country girls can survive. So, I mean, good for her and how long she has thrived. It just feels like to me, this whole dynamic with the first time, I was like, no. So, again, the fact that this is stuck into some stupid, what demographic cares about a freaking love story drama anyway? God. Anyway, what do I know? I don't watch
It's
TV.
for the female wrestling fans. You think I was telling
Oh, okay. So
my
for those that watch
girlfriend,
Lifetime, got it.
I was telling my girlfriend earlier today, I was like, all WWE is a soap opera for men. It's Days of
Yes.
Our Lives. It's General
Yes.
Hospital. And for some reason, she had never made the connection. She was like, holy shit, you're right.
Yeah,
Yep.
shocker,
Like,
right?
so for the female fans that watch with their boyfriends,
Here we go.
that's what this angle is. It's for
Yeah.
them.
All right,
That's how I got my ex-wife into wrestling. Was I took her to like one house show for OVW, and she just automatically like latched onto the characters, realized what was going on, and she's like, "Okay, I can get into this." So it was pretty cool.
All right, I respect that. Again, there's a different flavor for everybody, but again, this not for me.
No,
All
I
right,
get
well-
that. The first one we're unanimous on. What would be unanimous for any more, Noah? What's next?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because now we're going to determine what the hell this unaccredited institution is truly about. Is it a university or will it become a new platform for inclusivity? As we have an 8-person tag team match with, more importantly, Ava Reigns in-ring freaking debut. It is the Schism, Joe Gacy and the Dyad, I almost said Triad, and Ava Reigns versus your favorites. You know who they are. Chase University's old professor, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, Via Hale, and big strong boy, Tyler Bate. And the winner of this match gains control of Chase U. So either Chase U burns to the ground or Chase U continues to stick around. I am not going to say any freaking thing
Damn
else.
it, Jerry.
Damn it, Gary. Oh, gosh. Well, we're all about to be in an inclusive world. God help us. Ay, 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 ay. JJ, kick this thing off. This is your university. I'm curious to see if you actually go against it.
Well, I think it's going to surprise you, Noah, but I am going against it. I love Chase U. I am a graduate of Chase University. It says so on my Twitter account. Okay. But at the end of the day, what it all comes down to for me is that right there.
Ding.
The debut of Ava Raine. Her father, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, debuted at a Big Four.
That's right.
In a match very similar to this. Granted, it was Survivor Series rules. It was elimination, but he was the sole survivor. His daughter makes her in-ring debut on WrestleMania weekend. And we don't think that she's going to be on the winning squad. Period. What I'm looking for here, though, as far as the repercussions and the fallout and how this is all going to transpire, Duke Hudson, Tyler Bate.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Bate doesn't fit. He's not a member of Chase U. Duke Hudson in recent weeks has had some serious issues with Andre Chase and the way he's running the university.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised to see either one of them pull a trigger, turn heel on a line with the schism.
I think if it was either one of the two, I think it would probably more likely be Duke Hudson.
Yeah, about to say
that would be the obvious.
Yeah, I don't see
which
Tyler
is
Bate
why
going heel.
Tyler Bate would be such a big moment.
It would because Tyler Bate's never been heel.
WrestleMania weekend is about big moments.
Hi, I'm gonna have an
Jeff, did we ever think we would see Stone Cold Steve Austin shake hands with the devil himself?
No.
But we did at WrestleMania 17, didn't we?
We did. You're not wrong. We did see that. It still shocks me that happened to this day. That was a backfire, in my opinion.
Be surprised.
But here,
Tyler Bate, the big strong boy.
I can't. I am a huge Tyler fan. I can't go against
strong boy.
Oh, that's my boy.
So am I. And I only recently discovered him because he wasn't on the Rainbow Bright NXT when I first started watching.
Right?
No, he was still in
He
UK.
only recently kind of came across my TV within the last few months. And I am invested in Tyler Bate. I like him. I like every member of Chase U. I think Duke Hudson is a beast.
Yep.
Andre Chase is so likable. You know, it's a teachable moment, damn it.
But you digress.
And Thea Hale has got so much spunk and energy. You can't help but be drawn into her electricity. But Ava Raine is making her debut in Hollywood, the city that her father dominates.
Oh, God, no.
Period.
No. I can't believe I'm saying this. And I got to call this shit. I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't want to see Tyler Bate absorbed in the schism. If that means the schism have to lose in order for that to happen and Chase U has to still exist, then I got to pick Chase U to win.
And that's another point. What did Ava Raine do to Thea Hale?
Traumatize her?
Yeah.
And is there a switch, so to speak, inside of her that if it gets flicked at Stand and Deliver, we could see similar to what happened to Alexa Bliss a few years ago?
That's true, but I'm just going to say this before I give it to the man in the mask.
I was gonna say, Jerry, please take the mask off. I cannot take it serious. I keep starting
This
to
is Jerry of
crack
a thousand
up.
identities. All I'm going to say is this. Your boys, your institution, have not gotten a major win since Fia Hale got her first win in NXT and they had an award ceremony
I
for
know.
it. If this professor's going to give you a teachable moment that you're still going to want to enroll in his university, there's a reason why Tyler Bay is aligned with Chase U, even if Duke Hudson turns. Ava Rain is going to be preserved in her debut. There's a reason why she's not debuting on her own. There's a reason why this is not Fia Hale versus Ava Rain, which literally could be the first feud in Ava Rain's NXT WWE career. They have identified her as a character. They are crafting her as a promo giver. Chase U is going to win this. This thing's going to end as far as the Joe Gacy, because Joe Gacy did the one thing with Braun Breaker, got nothing out of it but a story. This is just one of those things that's going to show people who Ava Rain is, and you Chase U because it's so damn over in this NXT, is going to stick around, but Duke Hudson will probably be expelled. I think your Chase U is going to win because I can't see Tyler Bate, A, becoming part of the schism, and B, losing. Because he already lost the damn NXT UK Championship, and that was a bust. So, I can't
Let me
believe I've
ask you
actually
this,
said it.
Noah. Let me ask you this, Noah.
Fine.
When we had the family last year versus the Legado del Fantasma to merge into one faction,
Oh, God.
did you honestly think the Legado del Fantasma would lose?
The only reason that I believe that the Fix the Bruno was going to win was because that was being pushed in your NXT. In this NXT, what's more the focus I see weekly in highlights? Chase U.
Schism.
Schism is more of the underground dark sort. It's like Judgment Day, wishlist.com. That being said, yeah, you're Chase U. I just don't see, because if Tyler Bate was not involved in this, it's Schism, hands down. But I feel like your Chase U has got to get some win at some point, because I don't see Andre Chase becoming the next Matt Striker. So I'm going to go with your Chase U staying around for a little longer, but Duke Hudson gets expelled. Jerry, go ahead and talk. I picked Chase U. It's 1-1. I cannot believe I fucking said that.
I honestly think that Thea Hale is going to turn on Chase U, kind of like a Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing. I think she's going to give a low blow to Tyler Bate or something, and it's going to cause them to lose the match. Because you made the point that Joe Gacy lost to Braun Breaker, but I think he's just going to build a bigger faction with the members of Chase U inside of Schism. And it's going to be like this huge cult type thing, and he's going to go for the belt again. So that's that. I think Thea Hale is going to pretty much pull like a she's going to be pretty much like in the House of Black with Julia Hart, and pretty much how she was tormented by them for the longest time, but all of a sudden she's with them because something that Joe Gacy has said is stuck with her. So in the long run, Tyler Bate may end up being the fall guy in this match, but it's going to be by nefarious means. You know how much I love Tyler Bate.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of my favorites. He really is. But like storyline wise, the whole university crumbling more or less, being absorbed by the Schism, and then like just more darkness coming over NXT at this point, it makes more sense to me. It really does. But with that, I actually do have to go.
All right. Well, that being said, Jerry, real quick, go ahead, make a winner pick for the women's ladder match, because I know you have the banner.
Oh yeah, Dolan.
There you go. All right.
GG, definitely.
All right, good man. We'll talk later this week. Maybe the NXT team will reunite for one night to go more in depth on this card. Stay tuned. Jerry, always a pleasure. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll definitely see you before Stand and Deliver.
Thanks for letting me, you guys, as crub.
Hey, always a pleasure, my friend. Old gimmicks need to die. All right. He's gone. He's gone. All right. Well, Jeff, go ahead. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Jerry of 1,000 Names and Identity. Follow him. Follow Armbar, ARMBMR, exclamation point, at General_JSJ. Okay, Jeff, go ahead and round this 8-person tag thing out. What's the future of Chase U, whether short term or long going? And does Ava Rain impress, or is she still maybe one of those that could actually end up becoming a mess if not careful?
Well, like any second generation that comes into this business, the fans always try to compare them to the one that came before. So she's got even though her name is Ava Rain, we all know whose daughter she is. They're going to expect her to have the same kind of energy, atmosphere, skill, everything like that as her daddy, The Rock, did. That's not going to happen. And unfortunately, that's
Not out the
when
gate.
right. But that's usually when we see careers sometimes go on the downside. It's like, well, what do I do to make me my own? I think this particular match, a 4-on-4, is a perfect way to introduce her in the ring. If it was
Right.
1-on-1, she wouldn't stand a chance
Nope.
at all. Nope. In fact, she
Totally
might be
agree.
booed out of the building.
Totally agree.
Yep.
So
The perfect way to hide her weaknesses and accentuate her strengths.
you got it.
Exactly.
You got it. And I am actually very, very excited to see what she can do. Now, am I expecting like the kind of success that The Rock had in his first match? No. I'm not expecting her to be flawless, to have a great match. She's going to only be in there a couple minutes probably,
If
and
that.
if that, yeah. So I'm excited to see what she brings to the table in this eight-person tag. With the fact that it's Chase U on the line, I do see the possibility of a Thea Hale turning. I will agree with that. That is a possibility. I also have the possibility of a Duke Hudson turning. That is a possibility. However, I do not see Tyler Bate doing it. Tyler has been a face since the first time we saw him in the United Kingdom tournament.
Yep.
Back when he was 19 and he won the UK title. He has never been a heel.
Nope.
And, the opportunity was there when Trent Seven was making that turn, that corner to become a heel. Evidently, Tyler wanted nothing to it. Next thing you know, low blow, mustache mountain, done.
Yep.
Tyler Bate, he's one of the very few I think you'll find in this world of professional wrestling who goes through his whole career as a face. We've seen it with the likes of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Never once turned. You've seen it with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Never once turned. I mean, these are the things you got to think about too. It's like, can you actually see Tyler Bate, someone who's he's starting in his prime right now. He's 26, starting in his prime. I don't see him turning. I don't see him going heel. However, Duke Hudson, I can see that.
Duke Hudson is the wild card.
Correct.
Pun intended, being the fact he's a former card dealer.
Right, right. Everyone thinks that Tyler Bates the wild card, being the outsider of the group, but that's not the case. Sometimes in a business or a group, problems come from the inside, where sometimes you're not sure, but you got to dig and find out where that problem is on the inside, and that problem is Duke Hudson. He's the one, if there's going to be a turn, he's the one to turn. But as far as the outcome of the match, Chase U is a hot commodity right now in NXT and has been. That one section up in the corner, always screaming at the top of their lungs, the crowd getting behind, the give me a C, give me an H, the crowd getting behind everything that Chase U is doing. Even though they've had their fair share of losses, we're WrestleMania weekend, boys. This is where you make your mark, where you can become somebody. Chase U and Tyler Bate for the win this weekend at Stand and Deliver.
Now that's a hell of a prep talk.
That's-
You don't even need a coach or a freaking movie narrator for that.
That
Oh,
that was
I
a
have my
hell of a-
notes down here.
That was a hell of a sales pitch, Jeff. You know, you talk about how Duke's a car salesman. That was a hell of a sales pitch.
Well,
Again,
you know,
I mean-
Dusty Rhodes was a car salesman. He was also
Yes,
a
he
pizza
was.
delivery guy.
if he
But you know,
was.
I try to
Good bummer.
look at things for long-term storytelling.
Right.
And if the schism gains control of Chase U,
God.
then you've got the story that builds of Chase U trying to get control back.
yes,
leading
but a lot
toward
of times when
Whatever,
you have
maybe
Uh,
Halloween Havoc, if not before that.
right, a lot of
True.
times
You've got
you've
a
seen
nice
storylines go this way, where you have something on the line, you know, and they end up losing it. Very, very, very
McMahon's a
rare
Stone Cold.
chance. Very rare chance will it be on the line again to get it back. Once it's
Exactly.
on the line, once they lost it, it's done. I don't see Chase U done. I see something. I see Duke Hudson, honestly, if he's not going to turn, I see him as the motivator in this, which is what he's been trying to do in a way, just going the wrong way about it.
Well, it was Duke Hudson that literally got the match made official because Joe Gacy at first denied Tyler Bates' way that we beat you philosophically, now we'll beat you physically. Duke Hudson instigated this. He put this gamble out there. Again, don't gamble, folks. So it was Duke Hudson that started this, but also Duke Hudson is the one that's been questioning your institution, JJ, why Tyler Bate and Andre are trying to re-educate him in what Chase U principles have been. And I'll even say it. Your Chase University impressed the hell out of me at Vengeance Day. They came this close to winning. But your Chase U has not won yet. You talk about long-term storytelling. You talk about being a movie reviewer. We've seen these stories of victory in the end, whether it's Rocky, whether it's Rudy, School of Rock, just to put it in school reference points. This feels like Chase U's biggest chance, not only stand deliver, but stand victorious.
Correct. I mean, we've seen Duke Hudson. It was Duke Hudson who got Chase U a tag team title opportunity, something they haven't gotten before. Duke went to talk. They got their title shot. They won the qualifier to get their title shot. Who was the one who got the pinfall that match? Duke Hudson.
Duke Hudson.
I if he does turn, expect that. But honestly, I don't think he will. I think if anything, he's going to be the motivator of this team. He's the one that's going to get them the victory. I don't see him as the one getting the pinfall. I see that as being Thea Hale, believe it or not. I see Thea Hale picking up the victory. If she does, can you imagine that place is going to erupt? Because that would be, what, her second win?
It would be, but that's a huge gamble considering women can only wrestle or pin women. That means she would have to pin Ava Raine in her in-ring debut.
Correct. What a big way to pick up a huge victory, to pin The Rock's daughter on her debut. WrestleMania weekend. You can't get any bigger than that.
That's a bold creative decision, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And we all know with Shawn Michaels booking, him and Rocky have had heat over the years, supposedly.
I mean, you remember him being the special guest referee during the Iron Man match, right? Just saying.
But as you said, Noah, in the world of wrestling, anything can happen.
Yeah.
JJ, go ahead.
I will say this. If Chase U wins, I will never be happier to be wrong. I just see Schism needing that momentum. Schism has beaten Chase U at every twist and turn.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And with the added potential of Ava Raine, I don't see how they can lose here this time.
Well, I will say this as we move on. I cannot believe how much of a storytelling plot / wrestling breakdown we just made out of this 8-man melee just thrown together out of a literal proclaim by Duke Hudson, who, in case you don't see it, folks, he's doing the U behind Andre Chase's back. Foreshadowing or just pure photoshopping? You tell me, but the bottom line in the chat, are you with Chase University or do you believe in inclusivity? Good God Almighty, I cannot believe I just said that. And Dwayne, Hail to the no. Because there's nobody that's ever going to surpass Joe Gacy as far as being a philosophical mind than Joe Gacy. I don't care how educated Andre Chase is. Even he can't get that manipulative. And Andre Chase is not manipulative. He's supposed to be motivational. All right. Well, golly, I cannot believe we talked that much long about that. I thought we were just going to talk about Alvin Rain, and then we talked about all these elements. And now
I was going to say, I think
pushing
Noah
myself.
expecting that to be a throwaway match, and here we
Yeah.
go, 15, 20 minutes in-depth analysis.
Well, again, your brand, stand deliver. It looks like just from these talks, it very well could do that. All right. Well, good stuff. Let's go ahead and move on from there to something that will be, well, I don't know if it will stand deliver, but it's darn sure going to be physical. And apparently, according to one Johnny Gargano, it will be unsanctioned. As Johnny Gargano is back in the letters NXT, what was once black and gold, now white and gold, taking on Grayson Waller, looking to give him his own viral moment that he soon won't forget, even though I'm sure previously he remembers. Of course, we know the last time these two were in the ring was in a previous era of NXT. It was War Games, where the new breed killed the black and gold, and Grayson Waller sent Johnny Gargano through an announce table before he could even do a send-off. And here we stand practically, 11 months some odd later, and Johnny Gargano is back in NXT on their grandest stage, looking to take over and remind people why he is Johnny freaking Wrestling. Damn it. All right, so pretty simple point here. Grudge match. We saw what happened, and I cannot believe he tried to get Shawn Michaels back in the ring. No, Shawn Michaels is retired. Thank you, Shawn Michaels, for putting your own well-being before the damn money train. And exposing that too, but I digress. Johnny Gargano has been involved in unsanctioned matches before. In fact, the last time he was involved in an unsanctioned match was NXT TakeOver New Orleans, where he got back into NXT when he was literally booted out at the hands of his rival, now friend, DIY, whatever you want to call it, Tommaso Ciampa, a.k.a. Ciampa. And that match was freaking ridiculous. I just recently watched it. So this is a playground that plays to Johnny Gargano's strength. But, JJ, we have seen countless times how Grayson Waller has used opportunity to his own advantage. We saw in the Iron Survivor Challenge. We saw it against Braun Breaker countless times. And again, if that rope didn't implode, Grayson Waller could very well be the NXT champion, but he's not. So, JJ, why don't you kick this thing off, and who you got in this unsanctioned fight? And could this be Grayson Waller's last match in NXT?
I don't know about it being his last match, but I definitely feel like this is going to be his testing ground, his proving point. You know, we think about how Dolph Ziggler came down last year around this time to challenge Braun Breaker and kind of see if he was ready. And Braun's hung around for another year. Will he come up Raw after Mania? Possibly. You know, I think this is basically the same type of scenario for Grayson Waller. I think Johnny Gargano has come back. They're going to complete the story, and it's going to be a true test to see if Waller is ready for the big time. And personally, I think he is. I think Waller is on that level to be the next Miz, the next Austin Theory. I think he is that same style of performer. You think about the social media, you think about the viral moments, you think about the Grayson Waller effect in Miz TV. You know, he very much has a little bit of the best of both of them thrown inside himself, and he's still so young. He still has his upside ahead of him,
right?
As long as he can stay healthy. I think Gargano is going to win. So there's my official pick. I think he's going to win because he's got to get his revenge on Waller from having taken him out 15 months ago.
Exactly.
But I think Waller's going to put on a hell of a showing. And whether we see him at WrestleMania, whether we see him on the Raw after Mania, or whether we have to wait another year like we're probably had to do with Braun, considering his proving grounds was a year ago. Waller will be up there sooner rather than later.
All right. I agree with you here because I do feel like for Johnny Gargano, he did not get the proper send-off when he was literally the heart and soul, living spirit, the face of what is NXT. No matter what colors, NXT NXT, NXT. That is Johnny freaking wrestling. Period. Point blank. Simple. I think Johnny Gargano is going to win this too. He's owed a win again, like you said. Close out this, and it will also add to Grayson Waller's further ire towards Shawn Michaels. He's already confronted the man face to face in the ring. Where does he go from here? Does he pull some crazy physical shot, get suspended, and then come back, and we get finally some sort of fallout between him and Shawn Michaels, not in a physical capacity, but Shawn Michaels calling out the best of, NXT after, mocking the brand. What else does Shawn Michaels have up his sleeve? What else does Shawn Michaels have creatively planned?
The return of Marty Jannetty.
Not that. There's no barbershop window. I feel like Johnny Gargano deserves this, considering he's not even booked for friggin' WrestleMania. Bull crap. But yeah, they got nothing going for him on the main roster, so it's
He's in the Andre.
Oh, that's supposed to mean something, right? All the extras are in the Dre. Yay. I'm going to rant about that, considering there are two particular people that shouldn't be, but I'll say that for tomorrow. But I believe Johnny Wrestling deserves this more than anything else this WrestleMania week, and I'm going with Johnny freaking Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. Jeff, what's your thoughts towards this match?
Oh, I've been waiting 15 months for this. We've seen people come back because their story has not finished, or they went out not the way they wanted to, aka Edge. Went out as champion. 10 years later, he's back to finish his story.
Boy, what finale ahead.
And it's just he's the big one that we all know about. This is the same kind of scenario. Johnny Gargano, his final match in NXT, and he gets taken out by Waller. Not the way he wanted to go out. He's back to finish his story. And Waller is in for one hell of a fight. So he better bring everything, including the kitchen sink. Watch it be underneath the ring. To this match. Right.
Hey, this isn't Jeff Jarrett and China in a Good Housekeeping match, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bring that back in 2023. No.
Hey, I actually enjoyed that match. What are you kidding? I thought it was great.
That was ridiculous.
It's like, wait a minute, a guitar is not a household item. Oh, yes, it is. Anyway, I see this match, to be perfectly honest, exceeding the Gargano Ciampa match.
Ooh.
That's how good that I see this match. It's not going to be a quick one. It's not going to last as long as Gargano Ciampa did, which was
33 minutes.
Yeah, I was to say but it's going to, the quality of the match is going to surpass the one Gargano had with Ciampa because of how personal this got. Now, this has gotten more personal than Ciampa Gargano. As all we know is, they were brothers, they were tag team partners. Ciampa turned on Gargano, and they had these series of matches, which ended up finally being the pinnacle of it all, which was unsanctioned.
Yep.
Hence why Gargano wanted this match. Now, would I have liked to seen Michaels back in one last match? To be honest, I would have liked to seen one more, and I think Waller would have been the right person to do it because Waller knows how to take care of people in the ring. We've seen it before. We know that he's been able to adjust to those that are in the ring. If they're up here, he can meet them. If they're down here, he can meet them. We've seen that. And I'm thinking even though Sean's been out for a long time and been retired, I'm sure Waller would find a way to get to that level. So that way it's not like one-sided or whatever. He would protect his opponent.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's one reason why I like Waller. Other than that, I think he's a scumbag.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I'm not. But this is the perfect person as far as Gargano goes for Sean to pick for this match because of what happened. Now, I to be honest, when he was going to announce it, Gargano wasn't even in my thought.
Me neither.
I was thinking, okay, who on the roster could they get, or who maybe up on the main roster could they bring down? But Gargano was not there.
I swore I thought it was Dragon League because I thought, oh, he's in the audience. He's going to jump the
I
guardrail.
I actually thought that too. I thought that
it was
too.
a debut match.
So and when he said it was this man and Gargano came out, I lost my shit. I'm like, this is going to be a freaking slobber knocker, in the words of Jim Ross. And
I'll tell you like this, Jeff. I lost my shit, and I didn't know the backstory.
yeah, it just
That's everything you need to know.
well, as I said,
That's
it was
NXT.
18 months ago. I completely forgot about it.
War Games
You know, I'm like, oh
2021.
yeah,
I
he did do that to Gargano, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
I
I'm like,
wasn't watching NXT at that point, so I didn't know the backstory. I didn't start watching
Yeah.
NXT till around March or April of last year.
There
right,
you
yeah,
go.
this was towards the very end of the Black and Gold, and I think it was like the beginning stages of 2.0.
Yes.
But you know, yeah, I know, no, but you know, 2.0, as you said, did have some good things come out of it. Just the majority of it was shit.
Yeah.
I agree.
But anyway, I digress, as you would say. My winner for this match is Johnny Gargano. He is going to get his revenge on what happened 18 months ago, and don't be surprised if maybe Shawn Michaels might be sitting at commentary for this match.
Interesting.
What if a war of words between Shawn and Waller? Maybe Shawn can throw one punch.
Or a super
Shawn
kick.
isn't at ringside, because I have a bad feeling that if Shawn is at ringside, he's gonna go for sweet chin music, miss, and get Gargano giving Waller the win.
Oh, damn. That'd be a viral moment.
That could happen. But
All right.
I'm not even looking at that. You just get all that bad juju out of here, JJ. Get it.
Hey, I
Shoot.
think Gargano
Shoot.
too, okay? You're the one that had to bring Michaels down to ringside. That wasn't me.
I just see if Michaels was to be at ringside for any match on this card and be on commentary, this is the match.
Agree.
Because he's just as involved in this match as Gargano is, and just as involved as Waller is. He is the middleman in this match.
Yeah.
But I also don't put it out of the water that maybe he could be the special referee. We know how that's been. Now that's where Waller would probably get the victory. Not on purpose, but on accident, of course. And that's where the super kick
out in the tight shorts and the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy.
Not at 60 years old. I don't want to see that.
Reps should not wear shorts unless they're on a cruise ship. Hello, Aubrey Edwards. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, so
Dwayne, really quickly, thank you again for the super chat, my friend. Greatly appreciate it.
Ding, ding.
I saw Noah pop it up, but I just couldn't address it because we were in the middle of the talk. Thank you, sir. Make sure you save some money for open mic night tonight, because we do want to send this man into his personal hell. So, but we'll get there.
I thought I was in my hell with that 8-person tag. So I mean, you know what? One hell versus another hell. I mean, what's the lesser of two evils? That's a whole different conversation. Meanwhile, good stuff here, guys. But speaking of, lesser, more, greater, I'm just gonna enjoy this. But I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let Jeff kick this thing off, because you already know what I'm gonna say. Gallus boys on top as the NXT Tag Team Championships are on the line in triple threat action as Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang defend the gold against the Creed brothers. And I'm curious if Abinai will be in their corner. And going after tag team gold for the first time ever, the family, Tony D'Angelo, and his E Familia Stacks. I don't know if he's cousin, brother, enforcer, best friend. You tell me. Bottom line, I already said my pick, so I'm just going to say it one more time, and I'm going to give it over to Jeff. Jeff, bottom line, Gallus boys on top. But go ahead, your pick.
All right, so we got a great triple threat on this one. Yeah, Creed brothers, who have been tag team champions. You got Gallus, who are the current tag team champions, and you got the family, who's yet to be tag team champions. You've got all elements in this match. Future, current, former. You can't get any better than that when it comes to a triple threat,
Damn right.
especially for a title. This match, and this was probably the toughest one for me to figure out who was going to win. Not so much with the Creed brothers. I don't see them as taking any of the gold home. So I'm going to set them aside, thus leaving Gallus and the family. This was probably the hardest decision to make, because you know how much I love Gallus.
Damn right.
But I'm getting more and more into the family, especially since Stax has taken these shots for Tony D'Angelo on purpose, stepping in front, pushing him aside to take kicks, to take spears, to take all these shots, and
a steel
becoming
cage door.
Yeah, and a steel cage door. He's put literally his career on the line for his boss. What employee does that? Not me. But I'm just asking, what employee actually does that? They care about their boss so much that they would literally put their career on the line for them.
Well, I guess when you're not a workforce and you're an actual family, again, blood runs thicker than a prophet.
Yeah. And the talk they had on that bridge in that segment, I'm really getting behind this team. I hate to say this, Noah, and this pains me. The family, Tony D'Angelo and Stax, leave NXT Stand and Delivered as your new tag team champions.
That's a bold take, considering, again, this is the first time they're going after tag team gold. It's almost like now
I have to go.
D'Angelo,
I have to go cry now. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I was about to say, do you freaking don't ever mess
that
with
hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, that really got to me. The thing is, though, it's almost like Tony D'Angelo's becoming a prototypical face as this father figure to Stax, and this family is being recognized now by the NXT universe. I'll put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the Creed brothers and the Gallus boys, last time they collided was NXT Worlds Collide 2022, and that four-way, we all saw what happened with that. Mm-hmm. And the Creed brothers right now, the Indusher is in the shadows. They're trying to get back to the tag team gold, but the thing is, like always, in triple threat matches, you have Buffer, you have Fall Person. In this case, a Buffer team, you have the Fall team. Creed brothers are former NXT tag team champions. The family has never had a chance at them. I almost do wonder if Indusher is done with the Creed brothers. Could they come into play here and maybe cost them? Could Dijak still want to deliver some justice against Tony D'Angelo, or is that finally case closed? But I just think right now, and Dwayne would put it out there, it's the second defense for the Gallus firm. And I feel like right now they're going to be around for the long stay as champions. They don't need to be on NXT TV. They just need to be confronted at the bar. You just got to play pool, play billiards. You just got to keep the waitress and tell us what you want to fight you. So that's the way I see it. And I'm not Irish. I'm not Scottish. I don't drink. But I do believe that the firm will continue to hold down the kingdom. That being said, JJ, what's your pick on this? We got one for Gallus. We got one for the family. What about you?
Well, much like Jeff, I put the Creed brothers on the back burner.
As did I immediately.
I feel like their best days in NXT are behind them. Whether they get the call up here soon or they just stay NXT boys. I just feel like the Creed brothers have done what they need to do in NXT, and they're just not even a factor in the equation here.
Just put them with Chad Gable and create an Alpha Academy out of them.
For real.
Yeah.
Move them up to the main roster now that Otis is Otis.
Oh,
Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, and the Creed brothers, your new Alpha Academy. The next evolution of Chase U, if you will, the Alpha Academy.
Well, actually, now it's two for Gallus, one for the family, so they're not going too far off, but it just makes perfect sense to me. I mean, again, the fact that Sheldon Benjamin is not even being used, and he's not even with Chad Gable.
I was actually just going to mention, you could possibly have Shelton Benjamin aligned with them, and get out of the Hurt business.
I was going to say, assuming they don't put the Hurt business back together.
Which was the tease, but it's not there.
Right.
Yeah, so you could have Shelton go back to his roots, so to speak. When it
Shelton
comes to,
Benjamin better. Damn it.
Him and Charlie Haas was the team. I mean, they were the team, and they had the best person to lead them in Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
So
you know what? You
that
want to
experience
talk
and
about
knowledge.
Shelton, you want to put Shelton back to his roots, and we're getting a little sidetracked here.
As we
Yeah.
Put Shelton back together with Brock,
What did I not
the
fantasy book
Minnesota
Minnesota.
stretching crew.
Yep.
Did I not fantasy book that? Come on.
For real, put them back together because Brock is in a twilight run anyways.
Right.
Let him and Shelton get a run with the tag titles. It would be the first time Brock has won anything less on the main roster than a world title.
Yeah.
I say he's
And
never
it
held the
would
tag
bring
title, so
Shelton back to relevancy.
true.
Right.
But
Anyway, back
to this
team.
match.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks. Click.
It's okay.
Yeah,
The Creed brothers
Gallus.
get pushed off to the side.
Yes,
That
Gallus
leaves
boys-
me with Gallus, the defending champions,
Yes.
and the family. And Noah, I've said a few times with you, and I know it pains you to hear me say it. The Gallus boys just have not impressed me since coming over to my NXT. I didn't see them in NXT UK. I don't know their history. I haven't seen them prior to them emerging onto the Skittles brand Rainbow Bright NXT, which is now morphed into this.
Right.
And they just haven't done it for me. You know, they're the champions and they're almost never featured on television.
That's because they're at the bar. You got to go meet them.
Okay, but still, like, I mean, they should be doing something more with them. I'm not expecting them to be on my TV every week defending the gold, but they've got to do more with them if they want to get me vested.
That's
And
fair.
I'm not invested in them.
Okay.
I didn't become invested until this past Tuesday when we saw the Creeds in Gallus. When the family entered the picture, it's like, oh, you going somewhere? We need to talk.
Back in the bar they go.
we got business to discuss.
Yes.
When I first started watching NXT, I couldn't stand the family. Freaking FBI
agreed.
wannabes.
Agreed.
Little Guido, Tony Mama Luke, 3.5 over here.
I did say it's a Bono ripoff, so there you go.
Yeah.
But over time, and especially largely in thanks to their feud with the Legado del Fantasma, the family has won me over just like they have Jeff.
Mhm.
You want to know who wins this match, Noah?
Go for it.
It's not Gallus. Forget about it. It's the family.
So we got international warfare between Scotland and Italy. Fair enough. And I am also part Italian. But that being said, I still believe that Gallus boys will stay on top because
here's the key thing too. Gallus has been missing a main component. They have been missing Joe Coffey.
I have no idea what happened to that guy. I don't know if he's injured or what.
He was injured, but they threw him into the whole "you're suspended" thing at the same time as the other two did.
Right.
So he's still on injury. I think we've seen him once, but not in the ring.
Right.
And that's the missing component for Gallus coming out on top when it comes to stand and deliver. I think if Joe Coffey was there and in the corner of those two, absolutely Gallus would be the ones going out champions. But with the fact that that missing component is not there, that's where the family takes advantage of it and wins.
Depending on how injured he is, because again, I don't know much about Joe Coffey. Who's to say he can't make his return at Stand and Deliver and help Gallus retain?
He could.
Protect
what better way to make a re-debut than at Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend?
Exactly. Well,
but
good stuff, and we will see if the Creeds break our hearts and surprise us all, and Dynamite once again shines with some regained straps, or will the family overcome the firm? Either way, I still believe Gallus boys always on top. As long as I get to hear those drums and the NXT white and gold is turned into a Gallus green. But that digress. All right, good stuff there. Let's go ahead and move on now to another championship. And before we go into this match, on behalf of the ATW crew, on behalf of anybody that's been a part of Super Productions, on behalf of FTW, on behalf of Meltdown, on behalf of the Championship Multiverse and me, on behalf of anybody that is a fan, the Prodigy, who has been removed due to an undisclosed reason, health-wise. Yes, folks, that angle was actually a bit of a look, but there was more to it. We wish the Roxanne Perez the absolute best in her recovery. May she return soon. I know that the Prodigy will once again rise to promise. Respect the wrestler, respect the person. Simple as that. As now, in the meantime, we must crown a new NXT Women's Champion, and it will be determined in a 5-way ladder match. And here are your participants who qualified, by the way. So I can't argue with any of these, even if one of them's like a plastic Barbie doll that shouldn't be here. That's a ripoff. There, I said it. I
She's a
stand by
Barbie
what I said.
girl in a Barbie world.
And not copyright, damn it, not copyright. But anyway, Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, the former Aloy Valkyrie from NXT UK, for those that don't know. And the fifth one was determined in a battle royal. And it came down to the likes of Zoruka and the actual winner, spoiler alert, in 3, 2, 1, Indy Hartwell.
Wow.
So that is your 5-way dance in this ladder match to crown a new NXT Women's Champion. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Indy Hartwell is the longest tenured participant in this entire AEW roster since its metamorphosis from black and gold to Skittle to the white and gold. And she's had constant fallout and traded victories and losses with the likes of Zoe Stark. We also seen Zoe Stark literally talk about, I'm not looking at the next NXT Women's Champion. We've seen Indy Hartwell put it all out on herself to the point she almost had a breakdown, and she took advantage of this battle royal. Or, excuse me, it wasn't a battle royal, it was a triple threat match to come out the winner, rolling up Soruka, who also has been impressing me. I will also say that. But the way I look at this ladder match is Gigi Dolan is finally coming out on her own. She put the past behind her. Jessie Jane is on the injury reserve list for now. We'll see if that picks up at some other point. Lyra Valkyria, after going through Cora Jane, after overcoming Ivy Nile, she said she's no longer here to claim feathers from prey. She is here to claim gold. She is here to rise in the NXT ranks. And then you got Tiffany Stratton. Go back to California. That being said,
Hey,
look, I don't care
California boy.
Different part of California. I don't care.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm torn on this one because I think about it like this. Even though Sean thinks Roxanne still shows up, don't think so. Maybe she presents the towel. Maybe she's there in the audience. I don't think so. That being said, I look at it like this. I think Indy Hartwell is more than on her way up to the roster for, if nothing else, as Dwayne alluded to. I think people remember Index and want to see him get back together because Dexter Loomis is doing nothing but staring out into space. That being said, also Zoe Stark, she has been impressing many, many, many people. She even was a participant in the Royal Rumble. So that has to mean she has eye on higher ups and that she's going to be moving on to bigger things. She also was a huge obstacle to overcome in the first ever Iron Survivor Challenge, as we saw. And then you got Lyra Valkyria, who, again, I thought she should have been NXT UK Women's Champion. Never became that due to injury. Right. And we've seen how she's changed her style now, Jeff, where the fact that she just does that big roundhouse kick and knocks her opponent's lights out. But now she needs to rise and claim the prize. So for me, the biggest wild factor here comes down to Lyra Valkyria and Gigi Dolan. And those two have had no confrontation whatsoever since they've been a part of NXT. Period. I think one of them are actually become the NXT Women's Champion. I feel Roxanne Perez, when she's cleared, will go back after the title. But I look at who's going to be around for the long haul. When you stand and deliver, I almost feel like it's a reset point for NXT, no matter what color scheme it is. So for me right now, considering Gigi just became a single star, and I feel Jessie Jane and her insanity, even while injured, might try and stop her. I think about Michael Satomura and the way that she felt so heartbroken and worried for Roxanne and came this close to winning. Her and Lyra Valkyria, they have history. There's mutual respect, but there's also a win and loss. Aloy Valkyrie lost to the final boss. I don't think Michael had her last chance at the title. Roxanne, Michael, and Lyra Valkyria are right now my NXT Women's Championship picture. So based on that, I'm actually going with Lyra Valkyria for the win. Now, JJ Sean says apparently, I guess she has been cleared to return. So again, maybe they'll surprise them after this match. I don't see them clearly reversing it. Maybe she confronts the winner. But Sean believes that Gigi Dolan should win, as Jerry picked. Jerry also wants Gigi to win. Everyone's a fan of Gigi. I mean, shoot, Gigi Chance Avengers Day. So, JJ, this is your NXT Women's Division, and I'll say it once, I'll say it again. At least this division has more athletes booked and recognized than the entire main roster's divisions combined. But I digress. So, JJ, who's your pick to be your, I'm sorry to say it, but it is what it is, interim NXT Women's Champion?
Well, let me first of all by saying that I feel that NXT royally messed up. And the fact that, if you can just post Dwayne's last comment there, Cora Jade isn't in this match.
I think she's taking a mental break, or is she also recovering from an injury? I don't know. I know that one point, though, she got off the Twitter. Don't blame her, because people are idiots.
Right.
Yeah. With this being as huge of an event as it is, and with her man defending the title in the main event, I felt like they missed a huge opportunity to have her in this match.
Can we have can we have Cora Jade with that steel pipe take out Tiffany Stratton backstage? Just saying.
Seriously, or somebody.
Stratton.
Because I know this match is being decided in a ladder match, but I've made the joke a few weeks now. We had Gigi Dolan throwing herself into the door for the Toxic Attraction breakup, much like the barbershop breakup with Sean and Marty.
Right.
We had Roxanne collapsing in the ring, much like Sean did in that match. I want to say it was against Owen Hart.
I believe that's correct. Someone can fact check that.
So have Cora Jade win the title here. Roxanne come back. I never lost it. Then we have a ladder match for the undisputed women's title. Sean versus Razor.
Reincarnated.
They totally missed a golden opportunity here, in my opinion.
I agree.
That being said.
Gotta deal with the field you have.
Yeah. That being said.
And Dwayne confirmed you are correct on that one reference. Continue.
Thank you. I agree with what everyone's saying about Indy. Johnny Gargano is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to bring her up to the main roster than the fact that he's going to be there, leader of the way. Loomis and Candice are on the main roster. Theory's in his own world. Let's not worry about that, but just put the four of them back together. You've got Gargano and Loomis. You've got Candice and Indy. A couple of actual tag teams, WWE, just throwing that out there.
What a crazy concept.
Right? Whoever would have thought? So as much as you guys love Indy and is long tenured, take her out of the equation. If she was going to be NXT Women's Champion, it should have happened by now.
How many opportunities? Good grief.
Zoe Stark, I completely agree with you what you said. She's been doing house show matches for WWE. She's been doing main events. She was in the Rumble. They are hiring her on the main roster. She's not going to be the one to win.
No, that would surprise me.
I think it's coming down to Gigi. You think about Mandy Rose and the long run that she had with the title as the leader of Toxic Attraction.
Right.
You think about the fact that she only lost the belt to Roxanne because of the shenanigans. You think about the breakup that just occurred with her and JC.
And JC's
Gigi taking that strap and then kind of picking up where Mandy was forced to leave off in a feud with Roxanne over the undisputed women's champion of NXT. And the fact that the fans have really started to get behind Gigi, whereas 4 months ago they were booing Toxic Attraction, might just turn Roxy heel. I like Roxanne, but I think she's been a little too good girl for my liking. I'd like to see a little bit of a darker side of her. If she was going against Cora Jade, I'd keep her face. Going against Gigi Dolan, kind of like to see her turn.
Well, I mean, at this point, you would give the NXT audience, you would force the NXT audience to make a choice, where this NXT audience already seems fickle enough as it is. So,
and the fact that Gigi has kind of been there for a long time and is kind of getting this groundswell, it's been a natural progression for her to turn face, much as the man I know we'll talk about in the main event, Carmelo Hayes. Just that forced baby face turn. You know, you put Gigi into that spot kind of like The Rock was at the Deadly Game, where they forcefully turned him babyface because the crowd was just so into him. Does she do something dastardly and remind everybody why she's a heel? Or does she embrace the babyface and Roxanne has to come back and be a heel to fight her? There's a lot of X factors here, but my official pick for this match is Gigi Dolan.
All right. Well, I like the fact so far we are thinking about different people here. This doesn't seem so one-dimensional. Jeff, as you make I see you thinking. As you think, looks like Dwayne also has a thought here. So, is this a new women's championship match or interim? Because I haven't heard anything about her being stripped of it. ? Maybe a replay of Cena winning the title and Punk return. You have to face off, and again, maybe like you said, they missed the ball, but maybe they run it closer to a special NXT TV special or the next NXT PLE. Maybe they're going to do more of those. I don't know, but I do believe that Roxanne will confront the new champion sooner rather than later, and there will be some sort of champion versus champion match. Because at this point, based on the graphics, folks, you be the judge. You see what it says: NXT Women's Championship ladder match. It doesn't necessarily say interim. It sounds to me like we got to keep the ball rolling. The show must go on. The roster must keep growing. We need somebody at the front at all times. Short term or not, work, unidentified case. The bottom line, you're getting a new NXT Women's Champion next week, Saturday afternoon. I almost said Saturday night. In some parts of the world, it will be Saturday night, but that's the bottom line. So, Jeff, regarding what Dwayne said, regarding what this match is, regarding the field, regarding JJ and mine's pick, where do you stand in all of this?
Well, your wild card in this match, one would think would be Indy Hartwell because of the experience. She is the one that's the most experienced. No, your wild card is going to be Tiffany Stratton. She has really become her own the last couple months. She's really got her character and the ball rolling. I don't like the character, but you can tell the work that she has put into her character, and you can yes, and the moves she's done, she's vastly improved in that ring. Do I see her coming out as champion? No, but I do see her as a wild card in this match, like a factor in some form or fashion. She will be a factor in this match.
I have to agree with you there, Jeff.
As far as Indy, I agree. I think that this is her last hurrah, so to speak, before she heads up to the main roster. And I do want to see the way reform on the main roster, which I'm sure you will. It's just a matter of, okay, is it going to be right after WrestleMania? Is it going to be like maybe a month or so down the road from that? But eventually it will happen. But if Gargano's there, you know damn well Candice is going to be there. You know damn well Dexter's going to be in the back somewhere. I mean, this is his woman right here we're talking about. So if this is her last hurrah, what better way than to carry her out into the sunset?
Oh, God.
That would be like the perfect ending for her NXT career and a good start by him carrying her out on the main roster.
And then they feud with Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux.
Hey, there you go.
Scarlett, I mean, I've only seen her in one match on the main roster, but she held her own. She did fairly well. I mean, yes, she's not as experienced as all the other, but she held her own. Well, yeah, I was okay with that.
Right.
So, Indy, out of the picture. You have Zoe Stark, the one that should have been NXT Women's Champion by now. Should have.
So it seems.
And yet, nothing. I see her, as you said, getting called up. She's out of the picture. We have two left. Gigi Dolan, and I'm sorry, I gotta say it. How do you put Aoif? Yeah, Valkyrie. Okay. I like the Liar Valkyria thing. It's a little easier to pronounce, but I know her as a whole bunch of vowels and an F in between. She is in NXT UK. She was one of the hottest commodities on that roster to not have a championship.
Damn shame.
JJ, if you haven't seen her on NXT UK, go on Peacock, check out her matches. You're not going to be disappointed. I am telling you right now, what you see in NXT now, in my opinion, is nothing compared to what she was on UK.
Preach it, Jeff.
So if you're in for a treat to see what she can actually do in that ring when you watch NXT UK, just go back, put in Aoif Valkyrie, and you'll find her, and then just check out the matches. You're not going to be disappointed.
Whether it was Isla Dawn, whether it was Danny Luna,
yes.
whether it was Stevie Turner, or whether it was, like I said, Michael Satomura,
yes,
she never, ever dropped the ball.
I believe Maiko was the only loss she took.
That's right.
In UK.
For the
only one. Yeah. And it was for the title. So I want her to win, but Gigi, she's coming into her own after the breakup of Toxic Attraction. This is her golden moment.
Mm-hmm.
I said it once, I'll say it again. It's WrestleMania weekend, boys. This is where you make your moments. Gigi Dolan will be your new women's champion.
Unless Jessie Jane shows up out of nowhere with one arm in a cast and pushes her off a ladder and boots her in the face. I do agree with you two.
I don't see that.
Pick, but it's just one of those things right now where it's like Gigi is the NXT recognized and most supported. Lyra Valkyria is the force that should already be a champion, but never was. And if her and Michael run things back, and then you add Roxanne back into play, I feel that's just a whole new reset dynamic on this entire women's division. Because, again, this really stems off Michael and Roxanne. And you know both of those are going to be involved in some capacity for the NXT Women's Championship sooner rather than later. So that's why I more so went with her. But honestly, Gigi or Lyra, one of those two have to be the winner here. There's no other way I'm seeing it.
Now,
for some reason, Zoe Stark stays in NXT for another year.
Now, that's where I was thinking. It's like you have a face that just had the title. Now you're going to have another face have the title. Or are they actually going to go with a heel, which would have been Zoe Stark in my book. Right. If they were going to go with a heel to have it, it would have been Zoe. But with her possibly being called up, you know, it makes sense to have the next one in line, the next more, I guess you could say popular. I mean, Zoe's not popular with fans, but she's popular. She's up here. She's up here with Gigi. Exactly. So Gigi having the title makes sense. And then possibly when, you know, Jane comes back, you know, from her injury, there's the next match in this series that they have. This time a title is on the line.
You know,
between the two of them.
We talk about the Giant Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa dynamic with the women's division in NXT. We're talking about Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. You very well can say the same thing right now, maybe more so for Gigi Dolan and Jessie Jane.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Jessie Jane is I'm not a fan of hers. I never have been.
But it's just,
but you know, Gigi, however, has really impressed me. And I don't know if it's the look of her character. I don't know if it's what she does in the ring, or maybe her mic skills, but there's something there that's drawn me to Gigi. It could be
story, probably that last promo,
you know,
where she poured her heart out.
I think personally, I have to look in my own life where, you know, here's Gigi getting bullied by Jessie Jane. I've been there. I know what it's like to be Gigi. So I feel what she's going through. You know, all through high school, I was Gigi. They were Jessie. So I know, I get where she's coming from. And I think that's really what's drawn me close to this Gigi character is I can relate with everything that she's gone through, I can relate. And
Okay.
I've got to go with my girl Gigi on this. It's just, if I'm wrong and it happens to be Valkyria, I'm okay with being wrong. I will not be upset. Kind of like what JJ was earlier with with one of the other picks. It's like if it's this one, I won't be upset. Same way with this one. But I'm my gut says Gigi on this, and I hope my girl gets it.
Well,
For
GG
me,
or Lyra.
for me, I totally get where you're coming from with Gigi. I love her too, but there was always something about JC, especially when the trio of them were together, that attracted me the way that Gigi attracts to you. I think for me, it was the psycho type of look that JC gave off, which kind
Right?
of harkens me back to the Psycho Victoria and the early Mickey James. And
Yep.
I dig crazy chicks. What can I say?
Yeah, I'm
So
hey,
there's
JJ,
something about
I'm
Daisy
with you. I'm
Jane
with you there.
kind of gave me that psychotic vibe in the beginning, and I was like, okay, girl,
There's a reason. There's a reason why I'm a fan of Nikki Cross. Just saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
not trying to get too sideways. I know Noah
Right.
tries to look at the women as wrestlers and not eye candy, but I always said Gigi had the look,
Mhm.
JC had the personality.
That's fair.
But JC also doesn't have the mic skills right now that Gigi does.
I will give
That's
you
a key thing.
That's
Mic
right.
skills,
He's-
especially if you're going to be a champion, mic skills are key.
You gotta have
Hopefully
both.
she's taking this injury time to work on that. So when
Yeah,
she
That
comes
could be.
back, she can be like Cameron Grimes, boy, just go to the moon.
Grimes. Man, where that guy at, man? Seriously.
That's on my Spotify playlist too, Noah.
Nice.
Cameron Grimes.
You're brilliant. Oh man. All right. Well, good stuff, guys. And again, good luck to everybody involved here. That being said, Roxanne Perez, looking forward to seeing when you come back and seeing who you confront and seeing if you once again rise as the prodigy to promise and return as NXT Women's Champion. But we'll see soon enough. That being said, we've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of shenanigans. Again, folks, I hope you've been enjoying this discussion as this has been a double feature of Simply Predicting as we've been discussing Ring of Honor and NXT Stand Delivered. But come tomorrow, you think this one's long? You haven't seen nothing at all. Because tomorrow, proverbial point, these two, I'm sure others, and who knows who else might come in as a WWE interference, will be a part of the discussion for, as it's known, nearly as a whole at this point, WrestleMania. God help me. So stay tuned for more on that. But that being said, there's been a lot of fun and talk. And hello, Ryan. Thank you for doing your part for, of course, being part of the discussion and engagement. And again, folks, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, super chat this man. Give the video a thumbs up. But let's go ahead, guys, and get into our main event where we will see once and for all, truly, if Melo don't miss. I've been waiting for this since I recognized the capability of both these athletes in the brand known as NXT. Finally, it happens. Ron Breakker defends the NXT Championship in the main event of Stand and Deliver against him, the one of one, the former two-time NXT North American champion, Carmelo Hayes. And you know Trick Williams will be in the corner. I don't need to say anything else because I can't justify this match enough here, even with all the notes and the fact that I have followed these two since basically breakout tourney Carmelo Hayes in black and gold. But that being said, JJ, this is your NXT. This is the biggest match in your NXT history. You're kicking this thing off. So bottom line, man, who stands and delivers your NXT into the future as the NXT champion?
Well, this is a moment that I have been waiting for ever since Melo lost the North American title.
You and me both.
We knew this day would come. It just was a matter of building to it. And Melo is another one that really took a minute to grow on me because I've always kind of been opposed to those cocky arrogant heels, because when they talk trash and then they get in the ring and they back it up, you just want to hate them even more.
Damn
Mhm.
right.
But eventually they win you over because they're not full of it.
No, they own it.
And that was Mellow for me. I started off, I'm like, man, I just want this guy to lose. Give the belt to Grimes, give the belt to whoever, give the belt to Dragunov, give the belt to JD. Just get it off of Mello. I'm done with him. But then you watch Mello
Mhm.
and you get captivated, you get sucked in, you get pulled in. And that's not to take anything away from Braun, because Braun, for being as young as he is and as still new to the business as he is, has done a hell of a job throwing the 2.0 on his back and carrying it proudly.
Since then,
But it's not 2.0 anymore.
no.
It's time for the next evolution. And that next evolution is Mellow. When the crowd a few weeks ago started chanting, "Save us, Mellow,"
Damn.
the writing was on the wall there. Because as much as I'm down with Breaker, it just went to show that Braun had become Cena. You think about how the fans slowly turned against Cena. Specifically when he got drafted that first time from SmackDown after winning the world title and getting moved to Raw because his weaknesses were exposed.
Draft lottery with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, for real. You get thrown in the ring with some guys the caliber of Jericho, Michaels, Triple H, you get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to take anything away from Cena, but he was able to hide on the blue brand and get moved to Raw, exposed weaknesses. Braun getting in there with the likes of McDonough, of Dragunov, of Mello, started to expose his weaknesses. And the crowd chanting, "Save us, Mello," again, was everything I needed to see. Calvin Brodus said it best. He is I and I am him. Slim with the tilted brim. What's my name? Carmelo Hayes takes this victory.
Well said. Carmelo Hayes also has prior experience before coming into WWE, but truly he's become a WWE mainstay. You and I called his match at Worlds Collide, and we know how capable he is when he's calling against the likes of Ricochet. Even though we've heard, Jesus from the grapevine, that some people think Carmelo isn't ready. There's no denying, though, that Melo is money, and every time he went for the shot, he's always hit a slam dunk. Melo don't miss. The fact that Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes have not met each other in singles capacity before this point still astonishes me. Before this time, the only time Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker were against each other was in multiple person action, 6-man warfare at times. The first time you saw them together as a team was literally just this past episode of NXT. They pull it together. Clearly, the two have incredible respect for each other and how far they've grown, but this comes down to who truly is NXT. And Braun Breaker is literally homegrown since day zero, prototype project of NXT. He has nothing else on his wrestling career accolades before NXT. He's been champion now this run for 355 days, nearly a full year, 12 defenses against the likes of Gunther, Joe Gacy, Cameron Grimes, JD McDonald, the Dragunov in the same match. JD separately one time. Tyler Bate, Von Wagner, whoever the hell that is. Apollo Crews, Grayson Waller, and Judah Mughal. But no matter what, he has risen to the occasion, and he's put this proverbial chip on his shoulder. How fitting, because he's a Steiner, by the way, to prove why he is this brand, and he is the dog that rules NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, what is the future of NXT? Who stands and deliver? Does Kim finally miss, or does Braun Breaker finally get broken?
We have seen over the last year, actually even more so than that, if you take out the month that Ziggler had the title, we have seen probably the most dominant champion in NXT history. Braun Breaker has done it all in his tenure in NXT. To the amount of talent that he's faced, which you have listed off, to still be on top, going through the plethora of people that was listed, it's amazing what this guy can do. He is spitting image of Scott and Rick together. Of what they can do in the ring, he is matching it. He is one of those where we have discussed, I brought up the whole second generation thing a couple times already, earlier in this discussion when we had it with The Rock. A lot of people expect you to live up to that name. Now, yes, we know Braun Breaker is not his real name. It's Bronson Reichsteiner. We know that. We know he's the Steiner brothers' kid.
Yes, we do.
And he is living up to that name. He can be called whatever you want to call him. He is living up to the Steiner name in its fullest. And I think he'll continue to do so. Just not in NXT anymore. I think Carmelo, I am not Isaac's nephew, Hayes. Well, if you get that little thing there. If not, I'll explain.
No.
Isaac Hayes, yes. I think he's going to come out on top. He is going to shoot. The clock is ticking down. He's going to shoot that 3-pointer, and he's going to drain it. And game will be over for Braun Breaker. Now, will this hurt him? Absolutely not. I think that this is going to be probably, I'm going out on a limb on this. This is going to be the performance of his career up to this point.
For both.
Yeah. I think that, yes, he's had great outings against some great competitors. But this one here is the icing on the cake. This is going to make or break Breaker's career. Are we going to see the Braun Breaker we've seen the last 2 years that's dominated NXT? Or are we going to see a slightly damaged, if you will, version of Braun Breaker? Because he is starting to break down, as was stated, the last three defenses, we've been able to see those flaws.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this is where he redeems himself. And he doesn't redeem himself in a win, he redeems himself in a loss. This is his final hurrah. Carmelo Hayes has something to prove. Not like he already hasn't proved it already. But let's just put an NXT heavyweight title around his waist to cement this legacy that he is and has and will continue on with in NXT. We've seen him come up from the groundbreaking tournament or whatever breakout tournament. We've seen him debut. We've seen his rise. And Trick Williams there by his side. I think that's the perfect person to be in his corner. He is what Carmelo needs right now. Once Carmelo is done with NXT, and you're hearing it from me, because this whole don't miss thing, don't be surprised if he joins forces up on the main roster with one MVP. I think MVP can take him to newer heights than where he is and where he can go in NXT. Someone with the brain, the knowledge, the experience that he's taken Omos. He's taken Shelton Benjamin. He's took Bobby Lashley. Carmelo Hayes is the next person you'll see in that group of the Hurt Business. Not yet, but you will see him in that, and you're hearing that right from the horse's mouth today.
I could definitely see MVP endorsing Carmelo Hayes at some point. I could definitely at least see.
Yes. As far
Absolutely.
as stand and deliver, Carmelo Hayes is going to shoot, and he ain't going to miss. He will walk out your new NXT heavyweight champion.
And I completely agree with both of you. I think Carmelo Hayes wins as well. But here's a take.
And like you said, I don't think this is going to damage Braun at all.
No.
There's still the rumor, take it at face value, but there's still the rumor swirling around about Bobby Lashley going to issue a challenge at WrestleMania and not wanting to be denied. And everyone assumes that it might be LA Knight and something that's going to spawn off of the Dre on Friday SmackDown going into Mania.
Right.
What if it's Braun?
That would be killer. That would be amazing.
What kind of an impact would that make for Braun? Yeah, he loses to Carmelo Hayes in a banger of a match because we know Carmelo Hayes don't do shitty matches.
No, you don't miss when it comes to match quality.
And there's probably going to be about 2 hours between NXT ending and Mania beginning.
Just drive on
over. Braun makes the trip from Staples Center to Inglewood, and he debuts against Bobby Lashley.
I feel like this guy's on point.
End of one chapter
as well.
And the beginning of another chapter on the same day.
I can see it. But I can
see the ushering in of a new era. I mean, these names right here. We talk about what we talk about tonight. Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Roxanne Perez, Carmelo Hayes. They're the next generation of this next year's NXT to be the leaders.
I see that match actually happening. I really do. I feel that will happen. However, I think it's going to depend on how Braun feels after his match.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's a little banged up, they might move the Lashley match to night 2. Give him that extra day to heal.
Why not the Raw after Mania open challenge? Braun Breaker arrives in front of the weirdest, loudest, reactive crowd you could see.
Yep.
And there's always that too, but I just think it would do wonders for Braun if he does it the same day.
It would.
You know, the other person I could see potentially doing it, and again, I'm sure we'll get into this tomorrow.
Yes.
Randy Orton is supposed to be prone to come back, and night 1 is his birthday.
Ooh, that's right.
RKO out of nowhere on his birthday.
I forgot he is an April Fool's baby. I forgot about that. Wow.
So Lashley issued the challenge, and we just have this moment of dead silence. And everyone's like, well, who's going to answer the challenge? And then voices drops.
Yeah, I like that because I know that would get a pop. But what if LA Knight comes out, tirades everybody like a Jeff Ross roast, and then out of nowhere the audience starts cheering him. He's like, "Hey, quiet down, dummies, I'm not done." And then Randy Orton RKOs him out of nowhere.
That would be awesome.
Mello don't miss, and he won't miss this weekend. And I gotta say, Noah, this is the match I am most looking forward to call.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as NXT stand delivered, I gotta agree with you. These two have been definitely the key people that have garnered my attention in this NXT. And hello there to Hassan and Alex Storyworld. Thank you for your thoughts as well. We also know, Dwayne, that it is also Logan Paul's birthday. So we also know that match probably likely going to happen. But we were talking about, NXT stand delivered and how do they continue to deliver from there. I feel like, again, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Carmelo Hayes, Roxanne Perez, they are going to be the leaders holding down this NXT. Cedric Alexander getting involved here is a hot take, but I see Cedric coming back as part of the Hurt Business because right now, I don't even think he's part of the Dre. I don't even know what that guy's doing. So I'm not sure about that, Alex. And just to go, I know he's been on top of that, so right, because it was part of the video. For Trinity to show up in Ring of Honor and challenge Athena instead of Yuka Sakazaki, that's an extremely hot take because I don't think Trinity's been removed from the WWE roster. But I digress. We also will talk more about Bray Wyatt and how we wonder how he'll be involved at WrestleMania and whether or not Bray Wyatt remains happens in some capacity. Again, extremely hot take because right now Cody Rhodes needs to finish the story,
Right.
not a story. Cody Rhodes needs to finish the story because that is the story heading into WrestleMania next weekend. I could see it maybe one day happening again, but for right now, no. But bottom line is this. We are going to witness a lot this coming week in wrestling. And honor will be shown, but will it be upheld to? And bottom line, how far will NXT truly try to stand and deliver? These events on back-to-back days, it's going to be something very special heading into, of course, WrestleMania weekend, to say the least. And Alex, little teaser, that's your thought. Stay tuned for all of our thoughts tomorrow on City Predicting. But I think that's where we will conclude for now. And again, I definitely will keep that in mind. We talk about this tomorrow. Thank you so much for your hot takes, and thank you for tuning in. And thank you to anybody who tuned into this double feature of City Predicting. I hope you enjoyed as we talked about NXT Stand Delivered and Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, super chat this man, hit the bell, know this video goes live or on demand on either of these channels. Give us your comments and give us your thoughts. We appreciate them. And for right now, we'll keep things simple and briefly conclude. Dwayne, again, I hope weather works out for you. Again, folks, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be probably the longest we've ever done to date. Lord help me. But yes, tomorrow night, we will be simply predicting, and I mean that politely, WrestleMania. Boy, is that going to be a long-ass discussion and story. Let's freaking
But
go.
I'm looking forward to it. And Dwayne, I am not going to be there at Mania, unfortunately. Someone has to be here in the production studio to hold down the multiverse of media.
Yeah, well, that's where you come in. Again, Jeff Meacham, Good Old Jam will be live on site for all the festivities.
Yeah. Me and Noah will be calling the action of the Hall of Fame. We'll be calling the action of Stand and Deliver. We're going to be calling the action of WrestleMania. We're going to be here online for the action. Jeff will be there in person.
We're also going to be here online pretty much days and days on end coming up here too. So again, folks, stay tuned later tonight for Open Mic Night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be a fun shenanigan-filled night, I'm sure. And then tomorrow, get a bit of a reprieve until we do Simply Predicting again for WrestleMania. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live across Cast 18 Studios and my Civil YouTube channel. Monday, we would take a short reprieve with the Raw Go Home. And then Tuesday, No DQ has their official panel for night one, allegedly, if the night is known. And then there's the ladies of Multiverse panel that I'll be hosting. Wednesday, we have Dynamite. Will I do something for Dynamite? Only time will tell. Might be a private, Simply Predicting exclusive, if anything, updates with NXT Stand Delivered or Ring of Honor or something else WrestleMania bound. And then Thursday, we'll be providing you coverage on the Multiverse United as well. Right here, me and James will be still cognitive. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, next week, Friday, the big day. Of course, we'll be providing coverage for Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, our highlights and discussions to the WWE Hall of Fame. And then, of course, Saturday is where we will see how far this NXT stands and delivers. And prior to WrestleMania Night 1, there might be a Horseman exclusive prediction discussion preview panel with me, Jeff, Chris, and possibly Mark if he's available to discuss Night 1. And then stay tuned for JJ and Company pre-show ahead of our call of Night 1. And we're going to do the same thing with Sunday. And then following that, when we finally can rest and be like, we survived, stay tuned for our coverage for the Raw after Mania. And if we still have voices, the following Tuesday night, me and JJ, WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, simple take. That's everything that's ahead across the WWF Multiverse Media for the short going as far as what my voice is going to be led to in all things professional wrestling. Guys, it's been absolutely a pleasure. And no, JJ will be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
You already said that.
Yeah, I will be here tomorrow, Dwayne. I misunderstood your question. I thought you were asking if I was going to be at WrestleMania, that you were going to WrestleMania. My apologies. I misunderstood your question. Yes, I will be here tomorrow for Simply Predicting.
It's all good. Things happen. And again, guys, great job. And after we're done Simply Predicting all of WrestleMania week, the next Simply Predicting, guys, stay tuned for all of these. Rebellion, WWE Backlash, and it's somehow in the same damn weekend back to back to back. I'm not going to try and do back to back to back panels because I don't know if that's possible. But these are all the next to be predictings following WrestleMania weekend. Rebellion, Backlash, Under Siege, King Cream of the Wing, and AEW, Double or Nothing. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, tell a friend, hit the thumbs up, super chat this man, hit the bell on those videos live or on demand on this channel or any of these channels. Leave a comment. Thank you for tuning in. Until open mic night, Jeff, JJ, closing thoughts and remarks before we conclude and bid each other adieu for now.
Thank you very much for hosting this, Noah. Always a pleasure to be here talking wrestling with you. Make sure everybody tunes into open mic night tonight, again, across the entire multiverse of media, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern. You're going to get to see Noah walk into his own personal hell, as it is open mic and karaoke night. $5 super chats. We're going to spin the wheel, see which person comes up and which category comes up, and the person whose name is selected by the wheel can pick a wrestler theme song from that category that they will have to sing. A $20 super chat is pick your poison. You, the viewer, gets to pick who you want to sing. We'll spin the category wheel, and then you get to pick a theme song from said category for the person to sing. And a $50 super chat gets Noah, Meacham, and hopefully our buddy Stat Boy to do the Too Cool dance.
They got the glasses ready.
Oh, boy.
So make sure everyone tunes into open mic night just to see Noah squirm every time we spin the wheel.
Fair enough. Jeff, of course, your meltdown season is about up. It's been a hell of a ride and pleasure. Looking forward to season 5. And anything else you want to promote? Any last closing remarks you have ahead of tomorrow or tonight?
First off, I want to say I kind of want to tune in to find out which one's going to play Rikishi, which one's going to be the one doing the worm. Anyway, as far as NXT Stand and Deliver, I am extremely excited about this. Ring of Honor, Supercard, it looks fantastic so far. Obviously, we know that it's not just going to be 4 matches. It's going to be at least one more match added. And hopefully we'll figure that out this week.
I mean, again, these two people are waiting for confirmation from their opponent.
That freaking picture of Yuta gets me. Oh, my God. It's kind of like last night and us saying that we believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah, but
wait,
anyway,
just say?
That I believe in Joe Hendry. Absolutely.
Hey,
there he is. Oh, man,
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell that intro video was for him.
It
gave me Simon Dean vibes and shit, like for real.
It works for what it's worth.
It does. It does. Yes. Anyway, Meltdown is, as Noah said, is vastly getting to the end of the season. Brackets will be starting on the week ending April 15th, and season 5 will begin the week ending July 1st. And what pay-per-view is July 1st? No,
that'd be Money in the Bank.
That would be Money in the Bank. Yes.
I had to think about it for a second. I know what's coming up in May. July 1st. Yeah, Money in the Bank.
That's the one that we're starting. We're starting season 5 with Money in the Bank. So it ought to be a good way to kick off. And season 5, we're not just going to go 24 weeks like this one. No. We're going 40, people. We're laying it all on the line. July 1st to WrestleMania 40. That is going to be season 5. So we've got a long haul. If you want to join us, we have a blast. Come talk to me on Facebook, whether it be on Meltdown, whether it be MWL, whether it be me on Facebook, Jeff Chadwick. We'll set up a character for you. You play that character. You're the wrestler. We'll get you in storylines. We'll set up rivalries. This is where you can come to life. And we've had a blast this season and a lot of upsets. We got a lot of good things happened. Blake Russell, your number 1 guy on Spark. He is the number 1 seed for Spark.
Nice.
Who's the number 1 seed for Fury? Well, I've done the tally and I haven't posted it yet. So it's an exclusive right here on No DQ. Your number 1 seed. That man right up there. Simple Man Noah Foster is the number 1 seed for Fury. You heard it here, folks. Right here.
Now everyone's going to come after me.
No, well, hey, hey, I'm not in the tournament. I don't care. I'll just sit back and watch. No, but you've earned it, man. You've earned it. You had a hell of a season this season, and I hope that you continue to do so. But you sit back in the first round because you don't predict first round. All the lower seeds get to predict. You're in the second round, so
you know I got a break.
That's right. You get a little bit of a break, especially after WrestleMania weekend. So, we have our show, the Wrestling Roundtable. However, this it will not be happening this week. We will be out of town tomorrow, so we'll be getting home late. And I did promise Mr. Noah here that I would be part of the WrestleMania panel on here. So I'm gonna get home a little late. But I will join. I promise you, I will join a little late.
Look, we're going to be going for the long haul. You already know which matches are going to be the talk discussion towards the end. There's a reason why there's some bigger than others.
Exactly. So I figured the smaller ones, I'm okay with missing that. But as I said, as far as roundtable, we might have a special roundtable midweek. When it comes to this coming week, because of the simple fact of WrestleMania, we can't obviously have our show on while WrestleMania is going. So we might do something a little bit early. So be on the lookout for that over the next couple of days. I'll post that on Meltdown as well. So yeah, a lot of big things coming up. And if you want to take a part, hit me up.
Yeah, as simple as that. And again, folks, I want to give a shout again to the man of 1,000 massive names. Of course, Jerry of 1,000 names, a.k.a. Jerry Slaughter, the new normal. Follow him on the Twitter at General_JSJ, or follow his group on Facebook, Armbar, all capitals, ARMBAR, exclamation point. Don't forget it. And it's just a fun group full of memes, comedy, and wrestling discussions, too. They just have a fun little time. And if folks want to engage more with me, know this, for I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling, damn it! But I digress. Find me on... What? Find me on the Twitter. Noah, you bring in the pizza and Mountain Dew because it's going to be a long night. Oh, you have no damn idea.
No pitch black, though. No pitch black.
I can't find that. I got my Code Red. I got my regular. That's enough to suffice for now.
I've got a Monster with coffee in the refrigerator getting ready for tonight.
Ooh, those are actually good.
Right. Boy,
Kona blend, baby. It's my favorite.
Yep. All right. Well, good stuff. So, folks, again, you want to be part of the continued fun discussions and engage more with me and be part of all the leagues. Again, the forms are in the description down below. So, never too early to get them in, but it will be too late if you don't at some point, because I always give deadlines. And you can change them anytime before they're final. You can find the forums on my Twitter at nfoster1916, where I talk and chat and comment on all things wrestling. And, of course, shout out to my entire ATW family on the Twitter. I'm going to try and get them together, do a private recording to get their thoughts on WrestleMania in Cap's version, and also get Cindy's thoughts, as she will be there live too, and also be part of other shenanigans and events going on that week. Jefferson's the only one that's going to be around in the City of Angels. Just saying. And also, again, just stay tuned to the community tab, my little YouTube channel, for a quick way to find leaderboard graphics periodically at times, and also the prediction forums as well. As I showed earlier, the predicting, there is no ceasing it. And after WrestleMania week is over, you see what we're doing now going forward in the next bunch. Again, Lord help me. We have Impact Wrestling Rebellion, followed by WWE Backlash from Puerto Rico. And then that weekend is a trifecta of 3 wrestling companies with Impact Under Siege, WWE King and Queen of the Ring, and that Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing. And that's what's ahead shortly, believe it or not, by the end of May, in all things wrestling too. And of course, stay tuned for coverage, updates, results, and all these and more. And of course, everything WrestleMania-wise on NoDQ.com. And check out the NoDQ review tomorrow too if you want as well. But as always, let's conclude. There are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Dwayne, you're brilliant, because you're going to need it. And just enjoy live and enjoy professional wrestling too. It's as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Simply Predicting. Hope you enjoy. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Again, hit the bell to know when the next video goes live or on demand on any or either of these channels. Support this man. He's not monetized, folks. Super chat him. Get yourself out there. You want to take control. You want to take over. You want to invade. It's as simple as that. Super chat. Casa D18 Studios. That's Casa D18 Studios on YouTube. Or you can find a connection also on the Renegade Twitter. You see it right there in the banner. But that's all I got to say for now. For Christopher Rotz, for the entire City Predicting family, for Jerry McFaust Nate, for even James Hebert, for the Renegade JJ Williams, Jeff Chadwick, I'm the Seminole Foster saying thank you all for tuning in once again to another fun, in-depth, worthwhile, always discussion of passionate wrestling fans and all things Simply Predicting. And until later tonight, and more particularly tomorrow, where again I will do it one last time, proverbial point, WrestleMania. But I digress. Make a positive impact in life. Have a good night, and if you can, be awake, be cognitive, be supportive of Open Mic Night / Karaoke Night. I will see you then, JJ. Jeff, see you tomorrow. To everybody else, I'll see you all some point out there, in and out of the Twitter. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.